All right, everybody. Let's have some fun. Let's trade markets today. Mara's having earnings after the bell. Woo! We touched briefly today the 34s, and now we're back to the 30s, which is a sad reality. Bitcoin touched 64K
According
today,
to
which
Politico,
is
US congressional leaders have struck a government funding deal.
insanity. 64K Bitcoin, and it still seems like there's momentum to be pushing it. Google Trends shows that there is still not market euphoria. People are not searching like crazy, making sure they know what they're looking for. The FOMO still has not set in, potentially. We shall see what happens next. We have 2 more minutes until market close. Make sure your trades are in. If you want to buy Mara, you got 2 minutes to do it on eToro, or if you have access to after hours trading, you can also do that. But yeah. The number to beat, I think they're gonna be profitable.
Australian Treasury's Chalmers says Australia's fourth quarter GDP data is likely to be quite weak.
Oh no.
And Chalmers says
We
global and
also have
local
C3
soft
AI
landing
today.
is assumed but not assured.
We're hoping to get a 0.03 earnings per share on the stock, and hopefully revenue beats as well. But look. No. Let's see if market closes officially. You can't get out of the option trades. Those trades are now locked in until tomorrow morning. Scary time. Scary time. My news squawk is not going to be giving me any news. It's a very sad story, but sometimes you're going to be okay with it. Crypto sitting around 60,000. It's an extremely high number, given the fact that we were just a 40K just a couple of weeks ago. Maybe we're going back into the crypto euphoria. So stay tuned. But right now, Mara is starting to show a little bit of a strength going into the close. A little bit of strength. Have a look. Mara trade. There was a lot of buying into the close. Not really. A little bit more than normal. But there was a lot of selling. There was a lot of de-risking, which I'm super weird out about because like we hit 64K, you know. So I'm guessing that they're probably going to be very bullish on the outlook, or if they gave guidance at all. Right. Now, gotta be scary. When you see this move, we're gonna know what has happened to the stock. That is for sure. And the news will come out, hopefully quick and easy. Let's just go on this side and look for more. Let's go into have a look. So tasty live. So we're expecting. Okay, so here we have earnings per share 0.03, and then we have $145 million in revenue, which could be a lot higher. I think so too. They gotta be, right? Like nobody expected. I think we like it was priced in that we would have the Bitcoin ETF happen by March, right? And then that got moved forward. And if that got moved forward, that means that it's extremely likely that they beat, right? Expectations, I don't think they're pricing that in, you know? And there's also not that many people analyzing this stock. Not many people pay attention to it's like a lot of traders pay attention to it, but not everybody. Oh man. But let's hope, let's see, you know? Right now, there's a couple of option positions being open. Well, we're opened. Let's see how they behave because we can definitely get our asses handed to us. But I mean, let me know what you have done. Let me know what your trades are. Right now, I've opened a couple of positions, my portfolio. I'm in the trade, you know? I'm in the trade. I believe in this stock. Earning releases, it doesn't say exactly. I would have to look. I'll keep refreshing the investor relations, but it should be coming out. It's 1:30. 1:30 is what? So in 30 minutes time, investor relations, Mara. You know, usually the press releases comes just before. Look. So the earnings webcast is at 5 today. Did it come out? Huh. So at the bottom right, we're going to be able to see the news. Usually whenever the earnings per share pops up, we're going to be able to see it right there as the data comes out quickly. Okay, we'll open, no. Right, so webcast and conference call is Wednesday, February 28th. Then yeah, they discuss financial results ending December 31st. I think we saw the rally happen December, like December, January. Bitcoin was pumping, so we definitely saw some interest in the price of Bitcoin, which is directly related to the earnings that they're gonna have. So I don't see why we would see them actually not perform. Yeah. I'm just using their investor relations. Literally here. Marathon. Get it right from the source. They're gonna be the best. Always. If you're looking for information, what's my PE? No idea. But yeah. No, I don't think they miss, you know, and this drives down all of the miners, right? So potentially we see all miners do well. The thing is it priced in? Because the price has gone up massively, right? So the question that is the main question that we have to answer. It's like, is it priced in already? And by how much do we beat, you know? Usually, it's interesting because usually I go to SMIs.com, which actually lets you know what the predictions are for the stock, but they actually don't have the stock. Let me double check that. But bam, let me go here, let me go here. You know, SMIs usually like with big caps, I'm able to actually see, but then here they don't have. Yeah, you know, which is a problem. Usually they give me the answer, what it is Wall Street expect and everything. But Mara is a smaller company, so. But yeah, I was watching. So my data was also I looked at this article right here. Tasty Live, they do options, I believe. But yeah, this was what I was reading before. 145 million in revenue and then point 0.2. Now we just wait, you know. Now it's playing a little bit of a waiting game and just seeing when you see the stock move, like after, like right after as the stock moves, usually you have like, you know, algorithms going. Yeah, that is exactly it. That is exactly it. How much do they beat by? Because like the thing is just like it's going so crazy, and the thing is just like if they provide guidance, which they are likely to provide, we're gonna see potentially good. Like I mean, like the price, like it touched 64,000 today. How crazy is that? You know, it touched 64 Bitcoin. You know, and it's been closely correlated, but even though like it has stayed away a little bit, if we go back, like if we go to the dailies and we look at the charts, it's like we have seen Mara slowly come out. Yeah, like come back down, you know? It's like we saw here, we came back down here. Like this was January, you know? It's like from January till now, we're 130% up. Now, could we continue that rally? Yes, we can. Yeah, and they've increased the amount of like the amount that they're mining. Everything is leading in the direction that they're gonna be able to perform, you know? They had some issues with their hash rates last quarter. Hopefully they solve that, you know? But they've been in it. They've been in it for a long time. So I don't see where they potentially fumble this, you know? I really don't. Sitting at 31 right now, it's like the chart, you know, if you like to read the charts and the other things, it's like, look, oh, we have like, you know, cup and handles and all that stuff. I don't really believe in it, but you know, it's showing in the graph, so potentially everything. Riot misses. Yeah, true, but you know, all of a sudden you have like this influx, right? And then, you know, it's like how can you miss? How can you miss on the results when everything is in your favor? The only thing you do is mine Bitcoin, you know? It's like, okay, just mine. Just literally keep the machines running. And you got the capital because you just got this influx of cash. So that is one of the big questions, you know? It is one of the big questions. Look up Anduro. Look at those. Have a look. I don't want to stay away, but okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. So they're working on additional things. Will hit what? I mean, Riot is gonna benefit if Myra does well. It's gonna move, you know? The question is how far can we go? I'm thinking that we potentially see a breakout to the 40s today. That is what I'm betting on. And given the fact that even Beyond Meat beat like crazy, you know, it's like Beyond, like I think Beyond had awful, like it wasn't great results, and all of a sudden they're pumping in what? Insane, you know? So big questions. Right now it's selling off. Why is it selling off? Well, that was a big sale. Yeah, you know. So if you're looking to get in, potentially is the time just before the earnings release. All right, all right, all right. Let me move this here and let me move here. Let's look at the press releases. That's what we're waiting on. Fresh. Hmm. The financial information. Yeah, Kutri. Nothing out there yet. Now, insane. Like I'm not, you know, it's like the thing is just like, can we maintain after we get the results too? That's another question that I. Whoa. Now this is interesting. Go back to the minute and let's figure out why I said, okay, there's de-risking. But like I see, you know, it's like I could see if they miss, like there's a lot of people paying attention and my concurrent viewership because I never get this. You know what I mean? So 56 people watching, like there's a lot of people watching if that's how many people are watching me, you know? Like there's definitely gonna be some movement after we get in this. Surely I want to buy more. I want to buy more. I know, but the thing is like you've seen the stock move like that, right? So it's like, you know, it's like if we look at the ATR, bam, bam, bam. What we're gonna let's there, and then we go to the daily. It's like that's normal for a stock like this, you know? Like ATR is like $4 in a day, you know? $4 in a day. So that's what we can expect it to move. But then earnings happens. You know, you have companies like SMCI or ARM or Nvidia doing crazy numbers, and it's like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you know, people expect that they're gonna keep growing forever, which is potentially not the truth, you know, because we do have the scare factor of the fact that the halving is going to affect their earnings going into the future. The question is, what do we expect the price to be at, you know? Also, so the question is, can it hold gains tomorrow? Because the thing is like this could be a buy the rumor, sell the news. You know, we know that it's gonna do good. We know that it's gonna do good, and all of a sudden it does good. Try to get out. You know. But yeah. By the way, if you're enjoying this and hopefully you know you won the right results, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Because man, I've never had this many people watching me at once in this channel. And who knows? Maybe I'll be enjoying a whiskey at some point if this pays out. Holy. All right. Have a look. The call is at 5, but they got to give you the results just beforehand, right? So I'm expecting it right here. Right on the right, just over there, you know? Right here. Right here is we're going to be seeing it for sure. Like the main like they give you, well, they give you the earnings release. And then they go in and speak about the company financials and everything. Q3. So we should be getting Q4 results. I don't think so. You know, I think this was a buying opportunity. Somebody freaked out and they're trying to get they're trying to minimize their position. I mean, like so much people have made so much money, you know. But obviously we are hitting those highs too, right? Like we did touch the high, like the previous high, or like the previous highs. We broke them. Now we're trying to fight. If we can stay above 30, it goes good. No, nothing has happened yet. Nothing has happened yet. Or at least I haven't gotten the data, eh? If anybody gets it, let me know where. I'm more than happy to. Upcoming events. Yeah, it's the conference. But nothing that says here. Let me stepping away. Bam. All right, wait. So they're talking about the Enduro thing. The Enduro. I just want the results, in all honesty. They don't analyze the new things that are coming out. C3i. Oh, C3i AI has results. Oh, let's have a look. Maybe they move.
Taking a look at the market wrap for today's session,
Let's go.
Wall Street traders looking for key inflation
AI
data
is
sifted
pumping.
through
Apparently
mixed economic
they might
data
have
and
bid.
remarks from Federal Reserve speakers for clues on the interest rate outlook.
Oh, earnings per share beats by 15 cents.
Showed that the
Let's
US
go.
economy
AI
grew
is
at a
actually
slower
pumping.
rate at the
So
end
this
of
is also
last
somewhere
year.
you can keep your eye on.
As a downward
This is the
revision to
poorest market. What I'm
inventories
waiting in the
obscured
pre-market. Don't pay
stronger
too much
household
attention because I
spending
haven't
and
updated that.
investment.
I'm mostly paying
The
attention to
data,
this.
deemed uneventful by many investors,
That means
was
I make
released
money.
just 24 hours before the
As
Fed's
long as it
preferred
stays above
inflation gauge.
34.5, I
Following a
make money
rise
in my
in both
straddle.
the consumer and producer price indexes, Thursday's core personal consumption expenditures gauge will likely highlight the central bank's bumpy path to meeting its 2% target.
There's
The
big orders
BCE
coming in
is
and out.
seen as validating recent comments from officials that there
Sorry
is
about
no
this,
rush to
guys.
ease
Give me one
monetary policy.
second.
The S&P.
Usually they tell me exactly what I want to hear, but right now they're not actually following the Nvidia, sorry, the Mara earnings. Interesting. Now the question is what they would do, because if you're offering all of these different things, like I want you to tell me what I want to know. How much money are you making? I want to know. That is what I'm interested in. A company is nothing more than a sequence of cash flows. And I need to know what the cash flows are going to be, because if they're going to be the miners of the future, I want to be in it, you know? Now, I do have position in Bitcoin, by the way, and I do have a position in Mara. So if I'm sounding very bullish, do what you wish. I'm not a guru. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not nothing, you know? So do you guys, you do you, you know? But I do have a long position, I must say. Not too big, not too small. It's enough to get exposure into different places. Got the news here, but nothing major. Let's go. Like, no way they wait until the earnings call. It'd be crazy. Yeah, they just put that out. Interesting. And the financial info, no updates yet. I'm in the UK, so I might not be able to access this quickly, you know. Ooh, that's the problem. That's the thing. You should have been in this stock from a while back, you know. You need to like figure out when their earnings goal is, and you should like start making a prediction like based on. You got to predict where the market's gonna be, know where it's at. So you have a lot more risk if you go in at 33. You just go in with a lot more risk than other people. I enter at 21. I'm happy. You know what I mean? Worst case scenario, I lose my initial investment, and that's okay. That's okay. You know. You know. I take it. I learn because in this business, you gotta pay to learn. Oof. Sitting at 30 right now, it's just like it's not many sellers. I wouldn't say it's many sellers, right? Like if we go to the 1 minute, it's like look, like it's a little bit of volume, right? And there was a lot of volume into the close. It's like we're after hours, so it's like it's very easy to move the stock price because not everybody has, right? Like platforms like eToro, platforms like well, I think Robinhood had after hours trading, but it's like not many people have after hours trading, so you actually have to have a broker that does have it, you know. But yeah, it's the thing, if you want to get into this business for real, make sure you have after hours trading so you can actually trade it. Tell that to the eToro Twitter. Hopefully they continue to improve because I don't want to trade CFDs. Not yet. Not yet. There's nothing yet out. Market price sitting at 31. We're sitting. It's a $7 billion company. Price. Nothing's out yet. Should be coming out, but nothing's out yet. That's what they do, Like, and I'm surprised. Like the fact that it's like so many people watching is just because like Bitcoin today, 64, number one, right? So this moves the stock because now people are paying attention, and all of a sudden you realize it's like, oh, Maro has earnings like today, and then all of a sudden they beat, and that comes out first thing tomorrow. It's like, okay, Bitcoin 63K yesterday, and all of a sudden you have, bam. We have an hour. I don't think. I think at 4:30 it comes out. Have a look. This was the Q3. I tried. I'm looking and I'm refreshing as much as I can. 10 more minutes before we get the results. I think so. I read it somewhere. Capacitive band. Q4 press releases. So they've scheduled it. Okay, let's see. The webcast is up 5. Crazy. Are they gonna wait? Like, are they that good that they want people to hear it with them? No, that'd be nuts. It's been moving. When Bitcoin moves, Mara moves, right? It's been moving, and it's been doing great. It's been doing great since the start of the year. How are we performing? I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. But it's like the record here, and then it's gonna happen soon. But yeah, there was an opportunity to buy if you wanted to get in, and you couldn't. Mr. Saisen, you could always buy more. And, oh man, it's like Bitcoin moved what 7% today. Financial release. Just waiting. It's literally an update. Let's wait until 30 and then see. I think so too. I think so too. Let's see. You're gonna see the move, and then we get to see it. So I would keep my eye up over there. No, over there. Dang, dang. and then I would just keep my eye out on it. And if you see EPS anywhere, that's it, you know. But right now, they know that people are paying attention. That's the reason they throw in the like. Scares me the fact that they're like, hey, this is the announcement. Like, look at this pretty thing that we potentially have. That's great. When in reality, I don't care. I care just as how many bitcoins are you producing? I think they beat. I'm not my thoughts is they beat. You know, I am positioned as if they beat already. And with the amount of engagement and interest that we've seen, go nuts. You know, go nuts. By the way, we do also other live streams. You know, got to do a plug right here because why not? You know, so don't forget to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, because we do this from time to time when it's interesting and when there is this much like this had more than my Nvidia earnings, which is nuts. Nvidia earnings were crazy. So if you want to stay up to date with crazy companies and crazy strategies and crazy trades, hit that subscribe. All right. People either are going to be really happy. That's why I got to plug it now, because otherwise people are going to be pissed as. All right. Mm. Like price is moving, but it's not like nothing major. Like nothing too crazy. Bam. Ooh. Like you see, people are starting to join there's a crypto group that I'm a member of, and people are starting to join like crazy. If it goes up on subscribe, good. I think it's gonna go up, so might as well do it now. No, I think so. Like it's in the numbers that they gotta be, right? Like it's like it's like Nvidia right now. It's like, oh, everybody wants AI, and you sell the only AI chips in the market. It's like you are poised to just break it. But the thing is, then you have to answer the question: will they beat? I think it's like a 90% chance they beat, unless they messed up really bad. And then it's like, how much do they beat, and can they keep up the rally that they've already had? That is the big question. That is the big question. I think they can. And people and I have not mentioned the fact that today Mara has a 21% short interest. So 21% of the total company shares are shorted. So that just let that simmer for a bit. If it beats like crazy, the jump that we can potentially have because of people having to buy back the stock is gonna be crazy. Just let that simmer a little bit. Just let that simmer a little bit. I think they thought they could potentially touch 40. If they were to go up, I think they could potentially touch 40. Could be wrong, you know? But 40 is not a crazy number to me. At some point, for sure. Like I'm a humble channel here with 125 people following and looking at my face with 72 videos actually. And they were, most of the views come from my sister making videos. For sure. At some point I will. For sure. If Myra beats and it hits 40, definitely gotta do it. I play CSGO. Who wants to CSGO knife? This is the question. Or CS2 in this case. Wow, I'm getting old. Wow, I'm getting old. Wasn't long ago, but still feels like forever. Me? No, stressed. Please. Come on. Look at that pulse. Look at that pulse. Yeah, it is. All right. And they're out. They're out. They're out. Bitcoins produced. No, no, no. No, no, no. They're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. Sorry. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I'm telling you, not many people are paying attention to this stock at all. You know, you got to do it. I had to do it. A lot of people were on the Nvidia one. That's why. That's why. Wait a second. Press releases. Sorry about that. It said. No, that was August 3rd. Sorry, my bad. I'm refreshing and it said earnings out. My bad. My bad. In 2 minutes and hopefully I have an internet fast enough. You know? But that's the thing. It's like small little companies like right now, like after that company hit like after Bitcoin hit 64. I know. I know, my bad. I thought so. I thought so too. I thought so too. The problem is like uh, AI. Like PayPal, we have AI products. To the moon, baby. The thing is just like, look, okay, like we get it down, but the thing is just like Bitcoin is still continuing to rally, you know? What's Bitcoin at right now? Actually, you know what? I should just put this. There we go. Okay. Like that was nuts. My PNL. Man, last time I had my PNL here, and I don't have it this time, but I'll have it for next time, you know? You can see the report in investor relations from here. Send you guys the link so you can keep updating as well. Update it. Press releases. Did it? I don't know. In honesty, I don't know if it worked. That shouldn't have been it. Here. Copy. That's super weird. It won't let me copy properly. Just go to investor relations in Google, Mara, and then it'll send you there and just click on events and financial releases and then just bam. Spam it. One more minute. Let's hopefully we get it. But like the stock's gonna tell you. The stock's gonna tell you. There are big traders doing it. 30. Let's go. Yep, they're out. Let's go. And the price is not doing anything. But that's insane. That's going nuts. It's so they were expecting what? It was 118. They're sitting at 388. That's so nose. And then earnings per share of 1 when the earnings per share was supposed to be 3 cents. If that doesn't explode in the next couple of minutes, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up. That's great results. That tells you everything you need to know. Where is Tasty? So like, let's just double check those numbers, make sure they are correct. They should be. Yep, they were expecting 145 million and they had 380 million. That's a massive beat. Right now, nobody's paying attention to this stock. I'm telling you right now, it's crazy. It's crazy. But we're going up. We're going up. Slowly but surely, we're going up. You had your chance to buy right here and get on the rocket. And I'm telling you, it's not going to move quickly, but it's going to move. This moves. Insane. Insane. Those results are crazy. The thing is, just like you say, you know, it's like probably the people trading this are watching this channel. There you go. Those people that see, you know, them guys that said you were going to subscribe, here's your chance, baby. It is. It is gonna. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Tomorrow, this beats. If PCE comes in, this stock goes nuts. It's coming back down. Wow. It is an insane beat. Earnings per share by 66 and revenue beats by no wait. 100 and well, that was the yearly. My bad. I'm new to this, guys. I'm new to this. But yeah. Earnings per share 66. It was supposed to be 3. Everybody's going to be talking about this tomorrow. And then revenue for Q4 was 156. They were expecting 145. So that makes more sense. Okay, what I read was wrong. But still beat. Let's have a look. Bam. Insane. Give me 2 seconds. I'll put up their earnings out there. Bam. All right, let me put the earnings right here. I'm still not getting them, which is weird. Results. I'm still not getting them, which is super odd. But they beat. They definitely beat. Now the question is, what will happen tomorrow? But I think we see it. I think we see Mara coming to port. I mean, should I? Might as well, eh? Might as well jump on the call and see what's up, eh? Interesting. But 66, they're making a profit. I'm surprised there's no move. In all honesty, I'm massively surprised there's no crazy move. But I could stay a little bit longer in here. You know? Wait, what? They missed. Wait a second. Maybe that's why. Mm-hmm. Wait. Why can I not see the results? Oh, look. So they might have missed. What? Post. Oh, oh. Man, it said here, you know? Net income pumped up in 2023. That was net income, and then insane. I'm waiting. Or am I not a bit? People freaking out. Yo, design. Yo, bro. You got two fingers. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Man. So they did. It seems like they did miss. But look, it says earnings per share 66. Now the question is, which earnings per share is that? You know, that diluted. Everybody get mad. It's a miss. Yep, it's the truth, guys. It's the truth. It's a miss. That's fair. That's fair. I got it wrong. Peace out, guys. Oh man, it's crazy. Adjusted earnings per share. Oh yes. Oh yes. The adjusted earnings per share comes in at a different. It happens, guys. It happens. Oh man. Well, let the memes begin. All right. Man, have a look. But I'm still not able to see the earnings. Look. Press release. Am I missing something? No, it should be here, no? Well, that's the thing, though. We have short interest. We have, there's still so much that's happening with the stock, and the question would be the guidance. But again, I'm not able to actually see, so I'm not actually getting this like from the source. But yeah, they missed, which is insane. But they beat on revenue. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm not getting. It's like, where did the 66 come from? I need to see. I need to see the freaking results. I know I gotta get back to basics, bro. I know. You know. So that's simple and easy. You know. I'm sharing my journey. You feel free to jump along or get down the next stop, baby. Well, starts for 5. Yeah. People. It'll be interesting to see what they say in the call. That's for sure. You know. Usually, that's the thing. It's not like my usual. No, they missed by 3 cents, off 2 cents. What? Where's an analyst? Oh, I'm not gonna get it. They're still profitable, but I am refreshing. Is it out? Refresh. I am. I am refreshing the page. I am. Let me go into the financials. There we go. Let's have a look. Hmm. Revenues increased 229% to a record $387 million from $117.8 million in 2022. All right, so this is the data. Let's just confirm that it came out today. Bitcoin production increases 210% to a record 12,852 Bitcoins, which that substantially will drop as if they don't continue to pump money into the mining. Thank you very much, Para, for the update. Do they provide any guidance? Fourth quarter results, net income, 60 per diluted share. Net loss. Okay, so they actually have a lot. They had a loss. Okay. Revenues increased by 450% in the quarter. The company sold 56% of the Bitcoin it produced during the quarter to fund operating costs. Good, not so hot. And then the company sold 74% of the total Bitcoin it produced in 2023. Okay. Let's have a look at something. Huh. Interesting. If they do hold some Bitcoin, we could potentially. Oof. It happens, guys. But that's why you don't pay attention to guys like me, 125 subscribers. Takes time. It takes time to build something. Insane. But yeah. Yeah, price of stock is sitting at 30. It's still balanced. It's still nothing crazy. Now the question would be, would they provide any guidance? Yeah, I was looking at the wrong numbers. I have to get back to basics. Yeah, we'll try. We'll do. For sure. But yeah. Insane. Insane. I mean, look, can it continue to go lower? Likely. But the thing is that the rally still continues. And I think that they shall continue to do well coming into the future. I mean, this is for interestingly enough, this is the financial results that end on the 31st of December, right? Am I correct on that to assume that? Let's have a look. So let's double triple check. Fiscal year 2023 results. As of 31st of December. Yeah. So if it said 31st of December, that means that their Bitcoin rally since January is not baked into the price. Ooh, this could be a buying opportunity. Ho, 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 ho. This is interesting. Let's have a look. This is interesting. Because January happened. January's here. We've seen a rally of. This could be. We're talking about what, a 43% rise in the price of Bitcoin since January 1st? Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting indeed. Now the thing is we might see some like short-term negativity with this. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it. Now that's but it's super interesting just the fact that potentially note to self. Okay. Now this is interesting because potentially we're not seeing the stock go nuts to the downside, you know? We saw a movement right after it came out, which year 30, and then we saw like a downturn. It is coming down heftily, you know? Indeed, eh? Indeed. If it continues, if the Bitcoin rally continues, then for sure, because they're making 40% on whatever they're holding. And if they sold 73%, that meant that they kept. Yeah, let me throw in some numbers real quick for fun. So based on the proper sources, they produced in how many? Let me hear. Bitcoins produced was 12,800. So let's say 12,000 and 2 times points. How much did they sell? They had to sell in order to pay for their operations. It was what, 73%? So if it was 73%, that means that they kept. So 12,050 times that 1,000. I'll have 3,007 from operations. And if that increased by 40%, so what was it at the start of the year? Let's have a look here for fun. Bitcoin was sitting at 41K. This is interesting. 41,000. 142 million, and then potentially that's valued at 0.4, 40%, so that's 90 million. Okay, 119. Nine. Numbers are insane. So it's probably going to show a little bit of weakness, and there might be a buying opportunity right here. You know? Now, the question is, do we buy options for the next quarter? Because even the thing is next quarter is when? So when is Mara's next earnings? Earnings call is going to be at 5. Let's register for the call. Might as well. 14 more minutes until we get the. I know, but you got to do it. You know what I mean? You got to do it. I believe in the stock long term, you know? But sometimes, yeah, it gave a report. It missed. It had a loss. But yeah, you got to take it, you know? You don't, yeah, that's the beauty of trading. Whoever tells you that they're 100% guaranteed to make a profit, run to the other side because they're trying to steal your money. And they definitely going to make 100% in the returns because they are going to pay nothing. All right. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see what they say, because like they could change the paradigm in the call. Yeah, it starts at 5. Dang, that's so sad. Sorry guys, that was my mistake. The fact that still not 100% when reading. Usually, all of the data tells me before I have to make a decision. But with Mara, there's not a lot of movement, you know. Because as I recall, it's like, look, like since the result came out, bam, 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 bam. But there's really not a lot. Should have been. You should have taken. No, we should have taken the little, what's it called, hint when the price, when they, instead of giving the results, they were giving it, it's like, hey, look at this new project that we're working on. It'll be interesting to see what they say on the call. I'll put it on as soon as it comes out. But damn, that hurts. That hurts. That takes my profit a little bit lower. Hopefully, it's let's have a look here. But insane. Now, question is what else are you guys looking at in the market? That's the big question we have to answer. Because we had, I mean, like half of my trades went good. AI did actually do well. Let's actually wait, I want to step away from Mara for a second. Report was, look, revenue was good, earnings per share was bad. The question is why. They're gonna tell us that in the earnings call. That's what we gotta find out. AI did actually very good. This stock likes to move a lot. And it's up 16%, which would mean that my option straddle made money. Hopefully that balances my losses with Mara today. Hopefully we see more rallying. But I'm surprised that we have not seen some crazy movements. I think that could be it. It's just like there's just de-risking for PCE tomorrow. It's crazy. Very intriguing indeed. Narrower than expected quarterly loss. They've beat a bunch of different times. Let me have a look at something. So they tend to miss a lot, eh? Mara tends to miss a lot. But I'm not gonna lie. I think long term, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stay for the conference call. We'll see how it pans out, They gotta come in quick and they gotta come in hot because the market is definitely not liking the results, but they tend to miss a lot. Eh? It's crazy. I thought they would beat because that was the thing. The Bitcoin ETF was not meant to be out this early, and it was. Maybe they knew something we didn't. Hmm. Or maybe they just kept spending money buying, buying and buying and buying. They want to continue to mine like crazy. Hmm. After hours, we're sitting at 28. 28.40, not bad. I thought it would be a crazier move, in all honesty. Dang. It'd be interesting to see the move. Oh, this hurts. This hurts. Yeah, I can do that. There you go. There you go, good sir. So November 8th, they beat on earnings. Their EPS was actually way better. And here, this is gonna potentially. They miss a lot. Bang, 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 bang. All right, let's go. Bang. Good. All right, put in my other screen for a sec. August 8th. True, but this different. You know what I mean? Like I had a feeling that we were gonna do something crazy. You know? It should. It should. All right, let's have a look. So we're going November 8th. November 8th was here. November 8th was there. I don't know horizontal train line. And they actually beat here, eh? That's correct. It's still a massive move because it's still like what? It's what, a 15% move on Mara today? And then let's have a look. Then it's August. August 8th. Bam. And then August 8th they missed and then they rallied. Donks. So I bet you we're getting a fake out. All the people that sold, tomorrow we get a pump. If I'm telling you, PCE is gonna drive markets because right now the market's scared that we're gonna get that we're not gonna get so many interest rate cuts. That's for sure. There's things I know about too. You know, it's like tomorrow. I don't pay attention to this. I'm excited about it because I'm in it. Yeah. But so you gotta do. You know what I mean? You live and you learn, baby. Sometimes you gotta pay. All right. And then we have May 10th. July. Stock rallied. May 10th. And May 10 is right here. And then it beats. I don't have a stop loss at the moment. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a stop loss on Mara. Should have had one. That would have been great. But at the same time, you probably would have got it stopped out. So right now, I don't have one. Right now, I'm thinking it's like, look, like I'll probably take like break even money. You know, I'll probably go like, you know, if it comes down, which is very likely because if they're potentially gonna try to milk this. If it comes down, we could see the stock coming down to what, 24, 25? Like here, let me show you my Mara graph. This was being my trading for it, you know. So this was my original Mara trade. I bought here, and this was my consolidation zone. Could we touch that again? I find it unlikely, but we could. You know, I just think we're retesting before we bounce again. It's dropping because they missed. They missed on earnings. So now we're waiting on the call, which is in 5 minutes. And then we're hoping that they say, hey, guys, don't worry because we're guiding amazing results for the future. I know, guys. That's why you gotta risk manage. You either risk manage by the amount of money that you're putting into the trade, depending on the probability that it goes down or up. You can put stop losses if you want. You can hedge. You can do many other things. Oh man. My average is 21. You know what I mean? So I'm not too worried, you know? But it's like this is what I was thinking. Look. Like here this was my stop loss originally. And I sold here, bought back here, and then now I'm sitting here. I'm sitting at what, 21 right now? So I'm not, you know, it's like, and I think we potentially see it. I mean, like Bitcoin did touch for 64. Now, the big question is, what happens? Do they say AI? Yeah, I'm streaming the call. I'm streaming the call, guys. You've asked enough. You ask and you shall receive. The thing is like it's so tied to the price of Bitcoin, you know? It's like look, if you see it's like problem with seconds. Bam. All right, let's have a look. Yeah, likely. Likely. Look. Let's go. Why are you? Hmm. What, 28 is the line? 28 is the 28 is right there. I have potentially, you know. We could be just retesting to bounce back up. In all honesty, I mean, like it's not crazy. I mean, it's like okay, like they missed by 3 cents. No. How has Bitcoin been rallying for 6 months and the company that sold earnings Bitcoin missed? You know what it is? It's the fact that they predicted, like, it's like we've gone far. Like, I don't, we've gone from what? When was the last earnings we actually made a profit? So last earnings we made a profit, and then all of a sudden, bim. They do super weird. Like it takes them forever to get the results out. Because like if this is for December, because they are accounting the results for December 31st. That's something that's interesting. Which is weird. Because usually it's like the last month. Usually, but again. So potentially we're just retesting. I mean, we could fail it. We could. All right, let me take the PR out. Volume is still high. People are paying attention to the stock. Hopefully. Oh, well, that's if they give guidance. We are a minute away. Let me just find it again. Man, today wasn't even going to be a stream day. I was like, you know what? Might as well just do it. And then I'm kind of glad that I did. Even though, my mistakes are for the world to remember. Great. Stonks. The more you know. Yeah, I'm coming. Here we go. Am I late? Feels like I'm late. Yo, how's the audio? Just refresh. Man, I think too many people are trying to get in. But they were saying apparently the website was the thing that was down, not the exchange. Now take that with a pound of salt. By the way, everybody that's here, take whatever I say with a pound of salt. They late? I'm double, triple checking that I'm not late. Now, that's very unprofessional. You gotta take it. Have a luck. Yeah. It happens. There we go. I'm in it. I'm in it.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Marathon Digital Holdings' fourth quarter and fiscal year 2023 earnings webcast and conference call. I'd now like to turn the call over to your host, Charlie Schumacher, Vice President of Corporate Communications. Please go ahead, Charlie.
Thank you, Kevin. Good afternoon, and welcome to Marathon Digital Holdings' fourth quarter and fiscal year 2023 earnings.
Wait, should I? Audio
Thank you for
good. You
joining
want
us for our
more?
call today. With me on today's call are Chairman and Chief Executive Officer Fred Thiel and our Chief Financial Officer Salman Khan. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that our prepared remarks may contain forward-looking statements and that we may make additional forward-looking statements during the question and answer session. These forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties, and actual results may differ materially. When used in this call, the words anticipate, could, enable, estimate, intend, expect, believe, potential, will, should, project, and similar expressions as they relate to Marathon Digital Holdings are, as such, a forward-looking statement. Please refer to our earnings release for a full recitation of our forward-looking statements. Investors are cautioned that all forward-looking statements involve risks and uncertainties, which may cause actual results to differ materially from those anticipated by Marathon at this time. Some of these risks and uncertainties are more fully described in Marathon's public filings with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, which can be viewed at www.sec.gov and ir.mara.com. Finally, please note that on today's call, we will refer to certain financial measures that were not prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles in the United States, including adjusted EBITDA and non-GAAP total margin. Marathon believes these non-GAAP financial measures are important indicators of its operating performance because they exclude certain items that are unrelated to and may not be indicative of its GAAP financial results. Please refer to our company's periodic reports on Form 10-K and 10-Q and to our website for a full reconciliation of these non-GAAP performance measures to the most comparable GAAP financial measures. We'll begin today's call with prepared remarks from Fred and Salman. After their comments, we will be going through some of the more popular questions from our investors before transferring to a live Q&A with our covering analysts. And with that out of the way, I'm going to turn the call over to Fred to kick things off. Fred?
Thank you, Charlie. We had two primary objectives for 2023, which we outlined on our first quarter earnings call last year. The first was to energize our previously purchased mining rigs to reach our target of 23 exahash. And the second was to optimize our performance to become more effective and more efficient. As the record operational and financial results we published today clearly demonstrate, 2023 was an immensely successful year for Marathon, in which we achieved both of our primary objectives. Today, Marathon is one of the largest Bitcoin miners in North America, and whether it be financially, operationally, or technologically, we believe we are setting the pace for this industry. In 2023, we grew our hash rate 253% from 7 exahash to 24.7 exahash, surpassing our target of 23 exahash. At the end of last calendar year, we had over 210,000 Bitcoin miners operating across 11 different sites on 3 continents, which we believe makes us the largest and most diversified publicly traded miner today. At the same time, we became much more efficient at converting energy into economic value, which is the heart of what we do. During the year, we improved our fleet's efficiency 21% from 30.9 joules per terahash to 24.5 joules per terahash, which means that on top of our scale and our diversified operations, we have one of the most efficient fleets in the industry. Our operations team dedicated significant efforts to enhance the performance of our facilities. In August of 2023, our site in King Mountain only operated at an average of 51% of its operational capacity, and the site in Granbury only averaged 56% of its total capacity. Our team took charge of the situation, flying in to assess and address the issues, and by the end of 2023, our team had optimized both sites such that King Mountain operated an average of 92% of its capacity, and Granbury at an average of 99% of its capacity in December.
Let's go. That's really good.
While site performance will fluctuate with seasonality and maintenance, the significant improvements we made underscore the positive impact that our team and our processes can have in our operation, a testament that we are not just effective capital allocators, but excellent operators as well. Our operational expertise is one of the many reasons we are confident that we will be able to successfully integrate and ultimately optimize the 2 data centers we recently acquired from Generate Capital and any other sites we may acquire in the near or distant future. In 2023, the total Bitcoin network's hash rate experienced a significant increase, doubling from 253 exahash to 509 exahash. This increase in hash rate has the equivalent impact of a halving event. with hash
No,
rate doubling,
never,
difficulty essentially
This is
doubled,
nuts.
and that effectively reduced the reward
Don't
for
forget to
mining a
subscribe.
block by half, holding all else constant. Meanwhile, Marathon grew more than
I
twice
think I
as
lost more
fast as the
subscribers
rest of
today
the network
than
as
I
we
gained.
increased our hash rate 253% last year. At the same time, we improved our operational efficiency, improving our fleet efficiency 21%. As a result, we produced a record amount of Bitcoin in 2023. We increased our Bitcoin production 210% year over year from 4,144 Bitcoin in 2022 to 12,852 Bitcoin in 2023. Production improved throughout the year, but the fourth quarter really stood out operationally and financially. By the end of the fourth quarter of 2023, we were operating near full strength after Garden City was fully energized in October, following several months of regulatory delays. In December, we averaged 90% capacity across all sites, and at the same time, we benefited from a huge surge in transaction fees on the Bitcoin network. In December 2023 alone, we produced 1,853 Bitcoin, with 380 Bitcoin, or 22% of our total production, coming from fees. As a result, we produced a record 4,242 Bitcoin in Q4. In Q4 2023 alone, we produced more Bitcoin than we did in all of 2022, and more Bitcoin than 3 of our top competitors combined. In addition to Q4's record Bitcoin production, we announced several new expansions at the end of last year that are indicative of how we see Marathon evolving. The first announcement was our inaugural pilot project powered by renewable off-grid energy from a landfill in Utah. Our team is still working on finalizing the data, but the preliminary results of this project demonstrate that Bitcoin miners can actually help reduce emissions. The data suggests that the model we helped pioneer of turning trash into cash by mining Bitcoin with stranded methane from landfills is economically viable for miners, for the landfill operator, and is more effective at reducing methane emissions than flaring. Following the landfill gas project in Utah, we also announced our second international expansion and our first deployment into Latin America. In Paraguay, we're working to convert 27 megawatts of unused hydropower into 1.1
apparently the production
exahash
of like the
Bitcoin
current
mining
mines
capacity.
was like sitting around
By
50 to
Marathon
55%.
standards, this
They
deployment
managed
is
to
really
get it
just
in
a
December to
large-scale pilot,
99%.
and it serves as an excellent case study for the value that Bitcoin mining can bring to regions throughout the world with excess power. It also demonstrates our ability to replicate the joint venture model that we developed in Abu Dhabi, which allows us to partner with regional experts to quickly and effectively expand our diversified portfolio of Bitcoin mining assets. This experience is essential as we look to grow our footprint internationally and educate the world on the value
this year is
that
going to be
Bitcoin
nuts.
mining can bring as a
If you need a little
technology solution to the energy sector. Perhaps the most significant announcement from last quarter was our $179 million acquisition of our first fully owned data centers in Kearney, Nebraska, and Granbury, Texas. The acquisition closed last month, and the purchase price was subject to customary closing adjustments. With this acquisition, Marathon transformed from a company with 584 megawatts of capacity, 3% of which we directly owned or operated, to one with 910 megawatts of capacity, 45% of which powers sites we directly own. We've already spoken about the strategic importance of owning these sites, of the accretive nature of this transaction, and of the opportunities we have to reduce our operational costs at these sites, so I'll refrain from going into detail today. We will be assuming full operation control of them by April 30th or earlier, allowing us to accelerate operational cost savings and optimization. While we're not yet the operators, our team is currently intently focused on engaging the local communities to ensure that we can be the best neighbors possible as we go through the transition process. We believe Bitcoin mining can positively change the world, and that starts with the local communities in which we operate, where our operations create highly skilled jobs and economic contributions for the people of those communities. Before going too far into our future plans, I'm going to turn the call over to Salman to discuss our financial results for the fourth quarter and fiscal year ended 2023.
This is where it gets interesting.
Thank you, Fred. We had an excellent fourth quarter to cap off what was an incredibly successful year for Marathon. We produced record revenues, net income, and adjusted EBITDA, and we've entered 2024 with a strong balance sheet that has us well positioned for the upcoming halving and beyond. Now, let me dig into the details. The company reported net income attributable to common stockholders of approximately $152 million, or 62 cents per diluted common share in the quarter, compared to a net loss of approximately $392 million, or $3.13 per share in the prior year quarter. For the full year, we reported net income of $261 million, or $1.06 per diluted share, compared to a net loss of $694 million, or $6.12 per share in the prior year. In both the quarter and the year, the improvement in profitability was partially due to us choosing to early adopt the new FASB fair value accounting rules. Had the company not early adopted the new FASB fair value accounting rules, our net income attributable to common stockholders for fourth quarter of 2023 would have been a net loss of $5 million, or loss of 2 cents per diluted share, and net income of $33 million, or 17 cents per diluted share for the year ended December 31, 2023. I will discuss these changes and the impact in more detail shortly. But first, let's dive into mining results. Fourth quarter revenues were a record $157 million, significantly higher than prior year revenues of $28 million, and were driven by a 172% increase in Bitcoin production, coupled with a 101% higher average price of Bitcoin. For the full year, we recorded revenues of approximately $388 million, also a significant improvement compared to $118 million in the prior year. The improvement year over year was driven by a 210% increase in Bitcoin production and a 2% average price of Bitcoin in 2023 compared to 2022. It is important to note that in 2023, we benefited from the absence of a $333 million impairment of mining equipment and advances to vendors, a $183 million impairment of digital assets, an $85 million loss on digital assets held within the investment fund, and a $56 million impairment of deposits, loan, and investment due to vendor bankruptcy, partially offset by an $84 million gain on sale of equipment net of disposals in 2022. Our hosting and energy costs for the 3 months ended December 31 were $75 million compared to $30 million.
That's the key. It's December 31st.
For the year, hosting and energy costs were $223 million compared to $73 million in 2022. In both time periods, the increase was primarily due to growth in our mining fleet and related costs. Total cost of revenues, which includes depreciation and amortization, was $146 million in Q4 of 2023 compared to $44 million in Q4 of 2022, an increase of 235%. For the full year, this was $403 million, 166% from $151 million in 2022. Depreciation and amortization for the fourth quarter was $71 million, increasing by $57 million compared to the same period in the prior year. For the full year, depreciation and amortization was $180 million compared to $79 million in 2022. In both periods, the change was predominantly the result of growing our energized hash rate from 7 exahash to 24.7 exahash. We have also early adopted FASB's accounting for and disclosure of crypto amortization, which actually requires the measurement of crypto assets at fair value. The adoption of new accounting guidance resulted in a cumulative effect adjustment at the beginning of 2023. In 2023, we increased our Bitcoin holdings 24% from 12,232 Bitcoin to 15,126. Because of the significant amount of Bitcoin we hold on our balance sheet, we recognized a gain on digital assets of $214 million during the fourth quarter of 2023, and a gain on digital assets of $331 million for the full year under this new accounting guidance. As one of the largest holders of Bitcoin among publicly traded companies, we expect the new fair value accounting of Bitcoin to continue to impact our bottom line going forward as the price of Bitcoin fluctuates. The company's non-GAAP total margin, excluding depreciation and amortization, was $82 million this quarter, compared to a loss of $1 million in the same quarter last year. For the fiscal year 2023, our non-GAAP total margin, excluding depreciation and amortization, was $164 million compared to $45 million in 2022. In both cases, the change was predominantly related to higher Bitcoin prices, increased production, and increased operational efficiency. In Q4 of 2023, adjusted EBITDA improved to $260 million versus a $374 million loss in the prior year period. For the full year, adjusted EBITDA improved to $420 million from a loss of $543 million in 2022. The drivers of the adjusted EBITDA improvement in both periods include total margin improvement, excluding depreciation and amortization, gains on digital assets, and the absence of impairment charges. Due to the impairment charges of $572 million in 2022, we had a gain of over $700 million, which had a positive impact to earnings when compared to last year. General and administrative expenses, excluding stock-based compensation, were $20.5 million in Q4 of 2023, compared to $13 million in the prior year period. For the fiscal year 2023, G&A excluding stock-based compensation was $63 million compared to $32 million in 2022. This increase in expenses was primarily due to the increasing scale of the business, including payroll and benefits, professional fees, and other costs. At the end of 2023, we had approximately 60 employees, up from 30 a year ago, and we continue to opportunistically add talent across the organization. Turning to our Bitcoin holdings and cash position, unrestricted cash and cash equivalents totaled $357 million at December 31, 2023, up $254 million compared to last year. Also at December 31, we held approximately 15,126 Bitcoin with a carrying value of $640 million on the balance sheet. The company's combined balance of unrestricted cash and cash equivalents and Bitcoin was approximately $1 billion as of December 31, 2023. We sold 2,365 Bitcoin during Q4 of 2023, realizing cash proceeds of $83 million. During the year, we sold 9,482 Bitcoin and realized cash proceeds of $264 million. These proceeds were utilized to fund operating expenses, including cost of revenues for energy hosting and other cash operating expenses. During the year, we generated $608 million from at-the-market equity sales, which we primarily intend to use for growth capital and other general corporate purposes. As previously discussed, during the year, we took advantage of an opportunity to strengthen our balance sheet by exchanging $417 million in convertible notes for approximately $329 million in equity. This transaction reduced our debt by 56% and saved approximately $101 million, or 55 cents per share, in cash for our stockholders. The combined cash and cash equivalents and Bitcoin on our balance sheet, along with reduced debt and access to at-the-market facility, provides us ample amount of liquidity and optionality to strategically evaluate opportunities as we approach halving. We believe the increased value of combined cash and Bitcoin, along with reduced debt, is prudent risk management and source of strength for the company's balance sheet as we enter a potentially turbulent time for the industry. As mentioned in our January production report, our unrestricted cash balance at January 31 was $319 million, and we held approximately 15,741 Bitcoin with a fair value of $670 million. In total, we had approximately $1 billion in unrestricted cash and Bitcoin at the end of January. We continue to actively manage and optimize our treasury by hedging portion of our Bitcoin holdings. The purpose is to mitigate the impacts of extreme volatility in the near term while maintaining the long-term strategy of maximizing the size and value of our treasury. Given Bitcoin's historical volatility, we believe this strategy is integral to improving the resilience of our organization providing downside risk protection during volatile market conditions, and maximizing our Bitcoin valuation potential. We expect our Bitcoin holdings will generally increase but fluctuate depending on operating and market conditions. And again, due to the significant amount of Bitcoin we hold on our balance sheet, we expect these fluctuations to continue to impact our bottom line with the adoption of the new accounting rules. We intend to add to our Bitcoin holdings primarily through our production activities, and we will also continue to sell Bitcoin as a means of generating cash to fund monthly operating costs and for general corporate purposes. Given our positive financial results and our robust balance sheet, we believe Marathon is well positioned to achieve our 2024 growth targets and to capitalize on any opportunities that present themselves around the upcoming halving. And that completes my update. I'll now turn it back to Fred, who will talk more about our operations and our ongoing plans. Fred?
Thanks, Salman.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, how many Bitcoins they
hold. Will know that
didn't hear
Q4's
properly.
record performance was followed by temporary operational challenges in North Dakota and Texas that started in mid-January and have now been resolved. These sites, operated by Applied Digital, had unplanned outages due to transformer and transition line maintenance. In both instances, our team immediately began working with our hosting provider to find solutions to the issues, which are now resolved. As of this week, Ellendale is nearly back to full strength, and Garden City is re-energized. While these maintenance issues are now resolved, we do currently expect Q4's record performance to outshine the first quarter of this year due to the prolonged impact. Regardless, we're confident that the best and most exciting times for our operation are still to come. 1 year ago, the world was a very different place for Bitcoin miners and for Marathon.
Like right now,
we were in a bear market with Bitcoin's price hovering around $23,000. Marathon itself represented less than 3% of the Bitcoin network with only 7 exahash online. We had 280 megawatt portfolio of Bitcoin mining assets, all based in the United States. We had $226 million of liquidity, and we carried $798 million of debt on our balance sheet. Today is a very different story. Bitcoin's price is hovering around 60,000. I had to strike out the 55,000 in my script because Bitcoin kept moving up in price today. Marathon represents approximately 5% of the Bitcoin network with over 26 exahash online and more coming. We have a 900 megawatt portfolio of Bitcoin mining assets diversified across 11 sites in 3 different continents. We have $1 billion of liquidity in our balance sheet and have reduced debt by over $411 million while saving our shareholders $100 million in the process, resulting in net debt of $331 million. We're integrating our first major acquisitions and taking direct control of nearly half of our hash rate, but we're only just getting started. In 2024, we plan to grow our operational hash rate more than 35% to approximately 35 to 37 exahash. By the end of 2025, we plan to be at 50 exahash, which is approximately double our current capacity. These targets are based on our current machine orders and pipeline. However, we believe there are opportunities to accelerate the timeline and realize these targets even sooner. So you may ask, how are we going to get there? To start, we have orders and options for machines that represent upwards of 45 additional exahash, with orders for 22 exahash of miners already placed and inbound with the option to add another 23 exahash of capacity. Additionally, Marathon's investment in Auradine has already begun to pay dividends by providing us with an additional avenue to increase hash rate at an accelerated pace. If we choose to execute on these orders, we have the potential to reach 69.7 exahash once energized. Since procuring machines is not a constraint on Marathon's growth, the obvious question is, where do we deploy the next 45 exahash of miners? The 2 sites we recently acquired are the first part of the answer. Granbury in particular has substantial expansion potential, which we've discussed in press releases and on our last call. But to meet our appetite for growth, we will need to do much more, which will consist of both organic and inorganic growth, domestically and internationally, with a focus on optimized cost to mine and a sustainable energy source. This is where our balance sheet comes into play. We have been building up a substantial stockpile of dry powder, now totaling over $1 billion between cash and Bitcoin, and we intend to utilize it to continue growing our business through organic and inorganic means as opportunities arise. So far in 2024, we have raised $489.3 million at an average share price of $19.82. As our 10K will show, we have filed a new shelf, giving us the option to raise an additional $1.5 billion via at-the-market equity offerings. This would bring our total potential war chest to over $2.5 billion if it were fully exercised, the shelf that is. Today, the majority of our 900 megawatt Bitcoin mining portfolio predominantly consists of machines in large data centers that reside near power stations in the United States. We believe there exists significant opportunities to develop utility scale mining operations based on stranded energy outside of the United States, like our UAE and Paraguay sites. We will look for more opportunities in places such as the Middle East, Africa, Latin America, and elsewhere. But our organization is evolving, and with it, we believe we can revolutionize the way people think about Bitcoin mining. Our long-term vision for Marathon is a diverse global organization that leverages Bitcoin mining technologies to build a more sustainable and inclusive future. Bitcoin miners excel at two things: consuming stranded energy and generating heat. And while most of our competition is focused on underutilized utility-scale grid energy, we are always asking ourselves, what is the best way to utilize our technology and its unique attributes to create the most value? We believe one of those is through Bitcoin mining's version of recycling, which basically means converting what is currently a waste product into a productive resource. The pilot project in Utah, where we converted methane gas generated from a landfill into a productive source of power for Bitcoin mining, is only one example. There are some new projects our team has been developing that have a higher IRR than traditional Bitcoin mining, based on using waste to generate energy and leveraging the heat from Bitcoin mining profitably for low-grade industrial processes. It would be premature to discuss details at this time, but given the scale and diversity of applications, we believe the market opportunity here is substantial and the prospects are incredibly exciting. Heat reuse is a concept that we see becoming more significant and scalable in the coming years. Bitcoin miners are more efficient at generating heat from electricity than most other alternatives, including most space heaters, which do nothing but create heat by consuming electricity. We are currently exploring projects that involve using heat from our mining systems at both large and small scale to provide heat for industrial processes, commercial buildings, homes, and even just a living room. It's only a matter of technology and capability, and Marathon has both. Marathon's technology group is finalizing the development of a highly scalable immersion technology that enables heat reuse projects in many different form factors, sizes, and applications. And we'll be speaking more about this in the near future. Over the next 5 years, our objective is to have 1 gigawatt of power dedicated to these various applications that are separate from the utility scale mining we're known for today, but that are directly in line with our core competencies. At the heart of these initiatives is our technology. While our growth team initiates potential new projects and our operations team develops and scales our sites, our technology team has been hard at work building and launching new tools and services for those who are building the future of Bitcoin. The first of these is Slipstream, which is the direct transaction submission service we announced last week. For the Bitcoin community, direct submissions are designed to mitigate censorship and encourage development on Bitcoin. For Marathon, the higher fees may help increase revenue. And as far as we know, Marathon is the only miner capable of offering a direct submission service and benefiting from the potential increase in transaction fees because we're the only miner that operates its own mining pool. This is one of the many reasons we believe there is a strategic value to owning our own pool and focusing on vertically integrating our technology stack. Enduro, which we announced earlier today, is another innovation we have been hard at work on. We believe Enduro may be the world's first, most Bitcoin-native Layer 2 network, and it is intended to serve as infrastructure for the next generation of Bitcoin applications. This is something we have helped incubate, but it is not something that we own. Enduro is for the pioneers striving to redefine blockchain adoption. Therefore, it will be community-led and community-driven. Why give something like this away for free to the community? It's actually quite straightforward. We have a vested interest in the Bitcoin ecosystem. We're the second largest holder of Bitcoin among publicly traded companies and the largest single publicly traded organization working to process Bitcoin transactions and secure the network. Our core competency is converting energy into economic value in the form of Bitcoin. Therefore, if Bitcoin flourishes, so do we. This is also why we helped raise approximately $800,000 in just 4 days last year to support Bitcoin core developers, 500,000 of which was contributed by Marathon itself. We believe that Enduro can have a positive impact on the community.
I think
but we also recognize that different people have different views on how best to extend the utility of Bitcoin. We believe in testing, iterating, and letting the market decide what works best.
I think it's because they didn't sell.
It is that experimental and agile mindset that is core to Marathon's
which in
DNA.
theory makes it more valuable. You know, they made 40% of whatever they held since December.
One of the primary differentiators that sets Marathon apart. Marathon's leadership team consists of people who think differently and are willing to try divergent ways to execute and deliver on our vision. While 2023 was a banner year for Marathon, we have never been more optimistic about Marathon's future, and we look forward to building on our accomplishments to leverage all all of our assets.
Like the underlying tells something a different story.
Future. And with that, I turn it back to Charlie for Q&A.
All right, now we go to the questions. It's like, why do you guys miss?
Thanks, Fred. At this time, we're going to commence the Q&A section of today's call. We'll start by answering some of the most popular questions submitted by investors through our Q&A platform.
PCE data is tomorrow.
So the first question comes from Rex R, who asks, is the company more profitable after BTC halving?
I'll take that question. Thank you, Rex.
It's gonna hurt.
Thank you for asking the question.
It's not going to be good.
Just for the benefit of everybody, halvings are unique to this industry and Bitcoin and force the industry to become more efficient every 4 years. And the drop in the block reward forces.
Polish, you're a good guy. But no, I'm thinking of buying just because it's a great price.
And the most efficient one remains.
Let me have a look at my chart.
And we expect this likely will help us gain market share as we go through the halving. The impact on Marathon will depend on where the Bitcoin prices go from here. Obviously, there has been a great run in the Bitcoin price recently, and it all depends on how much the competition falls from here as well, with those inefficient miners, which could drive some interesting activity in the marketplace. With that, we have a significant Bitcoin holding on our balance sheet. And given that fact, if we do the math, simple terms, every $10,000 change in Bitcoin price will result in approximately $200 million of change in our EBITDA on an annualized basis. And in the current price environment, we expect to be profitable with the assumption that the competition will, certain of those machines will go down, and it will provide us opportunity to go create more value for our stockholders. Hopefully that answers your question.
One thing I'll just pile on top of Salman's great answers. The fact that we are very focused,
I think so too,
on growing parts of our business that generate higher IRRs than traditional Bitcoin mining. So we have one of the most efficient fleets in the industry. And if you think about the 45 exahash of machines that we have on the inbound between orders and options, and you just look at the orders that are locked for delivery at this point, our efficiency will drop from 24 joules per terahash down to somewhere around 22 or near 21 joules per terahash. Again, maintaining the most efficient fleet in the industry. Our technology investments in heat reuse projects and areas adjacent to Bitcoin mining will allow us to mine Bitcoin at large scale, though across multiple smaller installations, at costs that may at times sometime approach near zero energy costs because of the fact that we're actually paid to generate electricity in some cases. We believe as a miner, if we can target being in that lower quartile of miners, no matter what the price of Bitcoin and what the global hash rate is, we'll always be able to operate relatively profitably.
Great, thank you both.
If Bitcoin pumps are bomb, and they have $1 billion worth of Bitcoin.
I love your work and think you're heading in the right direction. A lot of critics are worried that if the crypto market fluctuates, your company won't be able to handle the fluctuation. Fred, Salman, how do you address that concern?
I'll take that. Well, we've been focused on building resiliency. We're investing in technology, diversifying across the business, and paying down debt, positioning ourselves for the worst of storms, no matter
They haven't said anything
what
about
might happen.
guidance.
We have one of the strongest balance sheets in the sector with $1 billion in cash and Bitcoin, which gives us the strength to survive whatever comes our way. And most importantly, this is not our first cycle. You know, Marathon was built during the last down cycle. And we maneuvered it well and have come out on top of the industry.
I want to buy.
And we've never been more confident in our future. So I hope that answers your question.
I want to buy.
Thanks, Fred. We have two questions next that are a little similar, so I'll kind of ask them back to back. The first is from CK, who asks, why did Marathon use equity to purchase 183.5 Bitcoin in January, after stating on the Q3 earnings call in November that equity was only to be used to drive growth in hash rate? Also, please explain the 2024 treasury strategy, i.e. what is your target HODL cash for halving and the end of 2024? And then similarly, Samir A asks, will the company purchase any more Bitcoin on its balance sheet? So either of you would like to take that and speak a little bit to Marathon's treasury management strategy?
Sure, I'll
He
take
was
that.
panic selling. I think this is opening up an opportunity
Thank
for
you
people
guys
to
for
buy
asking
in.
the question. Look, the company has stated in the past that we want to
How much
utilize
debt do they
equity
have?
for growth purposes and investment in exahash, whereas we've utilized Bitcoin for paying for our operating
Short
costs.
float. Oh, it has come down a bit.
And that's
19%.
primarily what our
Oh.
stated strategy has been, and we followed that along. In terms of how we have used cash, opportunistically, we have looked at the cash to take advantage of drop in Bitcoin price in certain cases. As you know, cash sitting in the balance sheet with the cash amount of cash that we raised, that yields about 5% in U.S. Treasuries. And when we look at it from an investment standpoint, how can we maximize our investments either in cash or Bitcoin? And when there are opportunities that arise, like an unusual situation that happened in January with the ETF launches and
See, they
price
weren't
went
expecting
down,
the ETF launches.
temporarily. We knew that the price was going to come back up, and that was a great opportunity to create more value for our stockholders. And we took a small position.
The short float. The short float.
That has been a very profitable investment for us instead of 5% rate of return on U.S. Treasuries.
The short float is
But
sitting
our
at
core business
19.5%.
remains Bitcoin mining, and our primary focus and source of equity is going to be growth investment. Given the unique situation of Bitcoin price, and this was an unusual opportunity, we don't expect these kind of opportunities to regularly arise, but we will be opportunistic in nature, up to a small scale, if you like. Our HODL position and cash, it provides us a great mechanism to fight any downturns. As the Bitcoin price, different cycles, it goes through the halving, it goes through the up cycle, down cycle. We're in a driving position from that perspective. It also provides us a great opportunity for investors to ride the price as Bitcoin price appreciates from here. Just to summarize, in future, we may monetize Bitcoin for investing in our company or general corporate purposes, but as of now, our focus remains to use equity for growth and Bitcoin for operating costs.
Interesting.
Great. Thanks, Salman.
Yeah.
The next question comes from Michael S., who asks, what is your ETH or Ethereum mining percentage and your Bitcoin mining percentage and overall mining capacity as of today? How much Bitcoin and Ethereum are on hand at the company currently? Fred, do you want to take that one?
Well, it's your Ray Ascension.
Sure, we don't mine ETH, period. Next question.
Yeah, it's Bitcoin. They only mine Bitcoin. Like, they don't even do Ethereum.
Next question comes from Monhar C, who asks, what are your plans to compete with competitors based on the hashing power metrics? Mara does hold a lot of Bitcoin, but the efficiency is somewhat less as compared to Riot and CleanSpark. Are there any plans to address that?
We're constantly focused on really two things in our mining business: energizing more hash rate and optimizing the hash rate that we have. And our efficiency has increased significantly year over year, partially because of the machines that we deploy, and having one of the most energy efficient fleets in the industry, and continuing to have that will be a stalwart part of that strategy. We also are the most efficient miner of the publicly traded miners, or one of the most efficient on an SG&A basis. And you have to look at the total cost to mine. You can't just look at your marginal cost to mine a Bitcoin. You have to look at the overall cost. What is the corporate cost to mine Bitcoin when you add all of the expenses and
Mara, lovely Mara.
And we believe that we operate as one of the more efficient miners using that metric already today. But we are very focused on optimization. We're going to continue to roll out more and more parts of our technology across our fleet, which we think is going to increase our operational efficiencies even more. And now, as we take control of more and more sites, if you compare us, for example, to CleanSpark and Riot, who own their sites predominantly, whereas Marathon historically has not owned their sites, we now own and control 44% of our hash rate. And we expect to see that number grow considerably to the point where the vast majority of our hash rate is owned and operated.
He needs to be doing the live stream. I'll be watching him.
That we have a significant opportunity for cost reductions just through the operating line, which we believe will put us on par, if not better, than both.
Go to the comments and ask him. Next time, he needs to do it.
Great. Thanks, Fred.
Yeah,
I think
Charlie
we'll do one
OP,
more,
dude.
kind of in
Charlie OP.
time.
That guy's made me money.
Last question,
Can't
at least of the prepared questions, comes from Michael W., who asks, what is the plan post-halving to ensure revenue stays the same or goes higher? I think we've addressed this a little, but Fred, do you want to take that one?
Well, when halving occurs, you produce half as many Bitcoin for the same amount of hash rate, provided global hash rate stays the same. One of the reasons we have set such aggressive growth targets is to make sure we continue to grow our hash rate and grow our percentage of the global hash rate for all miners. So our focus is rapid growth. Our focus is optimizing existing operating metrics and continuing to generate revenues that are complementary to mining from our technology products as well as things adjacent to them.
Great. So at this time, we'll wrap up
this.
the prepared questions. And again, we really appreciate all the questions and the interest from our investors and the consistent dialogue. So please feel free to
you can send your questions, by the way. If you guys have them, you can send them in.
And at this point, I'm now going to turn the call back to our operator, Kevin, to open the line to questions from our covering analysts. So Kevin, back to you.
Thank you. We'll now be conducting a question and answer session with Marathon's covering analysts. If you'd like to be placed into question queue at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. A confirmation tone will indicate your line is in the question queue. You may press star 2 if you'd like to remove your question from the queue. One moment, please, while we poll for questions. Our first question is coming from Tyler DiMatteo from BTIG. Your line is now live.
Yeah, hey everyone. Thank you for taking the time and good afternoon. Congrats on the excellent 2023 as well.
I'm not gonna lie, it's great earnings.
I'm just curious here. We've made a lot of strides on expanding the hash
based on the fact that they were not producing
these different technology offerings. As you look out for the rest of this year and into 2025, I mean, how do you think about prioritizing the expanding of your own hash versus maybe some of these other tech offerings and kind of just going back and forth between the two?
Sure, great question. So you can think about our business as organized around 3 predominant silos. One is what we call utility scale mining. This is our traditional business, sites like King Mountain or Granbury, Kearney, and what we're kind of doing in UAE, et cetera. Large scale sites, hundreds of megawatts sitting behind the meter or adjacent to the power source, and helping balance.
Part of the trading game, you put 15.
We see very large opportunities for that internationally. The UAE sites together are 250 megawatts. Today, we have opportunities to expand further, not just in the Gulf region, but also in Africa and Latin America, where we're currently operating in Paraguay, and we'll continue to do that. We believe that's kind of low-hanging fruit. We also believe there are great opportunities domestically, both in the area of greenfield sites as well as the existing sites, similar to the transactions we did kind of with Granbury and Kearney. The second silo is what we call energy harvesting. This is where we leverage Bitcoin mining as a producer of heat, and we predominantly find sources of energy such as methane flare gas and other forms of let's just call them recyclable biofuels that we use to generate energy. In some cases, we're actually even paid to do that, to take that material, and then recycle heat back into an industrial process, which we're paid for yet again, and mine in that way. Our technology group has developed solutions, and together with the partners that we started developing relationships with, we're able to build these projects at kind of small, medium, and large scale. And so I think you'll see news later this year of some of the first of those projects arise, and that's the sector of the business that we expect to grow to over 1 gigawatt of power over the next 5 years. The technology sector, or silo if you would, today consists of things like pool software, firmware, controller boards, a variety of other technologies, as well as now Slipstream and Enduro. While Enduro is technology we have helped incubate and is not something owned by us, that we won't generate revenues from it, Slipstream does generate revenues. So we already have customers that have bought and are using our firmware. We expect to see more sales in those areas. And as our next generation immersion technology comes to market later this year, we expect that to begin to generate significant revenues as well. So if you look over a 5-year period, and sorry for the long-winded answer, but if you look over a 5-year period, I think what you'll see kind of by the next halving in 2028, 50% of our revenues coming from traditional utility scale mining, 50% of the revenues coming from elsewhere, and 50% of the revenues domestically, 50% of the revenues internationally. And I hope that answers your question.
Okay, no, great, thank you. Really appreciate it. Very helpful. And then, Fred, on your comments on Slipstream there, I mean, how should we think about the rollout of that and the actual implementation, and generally as management, you know, how are you thinking about bringing that and kind of scaling that to market?
So Slipstream is this really neat technology. It's an API. It's a submission system. So you don't have to call a salesperson. You don't do anything. You go to the website, you submit a block, you pay the price for submitting a block, and that block goes into a queue, and off it goes. It's a hands-free system. It's think of it as simple as you know, uploading pictures to you know, the iCloud or something like that. It's very simple. The whole idea is it's meant to be hands-free. So if you are an artist and want to submit a block, you can do that. If you're a financial institution and you want to ensure that transactions you're doing will have priority, you could potentially you know, purchase blocks in advance and essentially submit blocks as you need them. So there are lots of opportunities, I think, for people to use this. Again, we're iterating. It's a simple tool. This is technology that the key enabler here is you have to be a miner who operates a pool that's large enough so that you can submit blocks and process blocks, win blocks, with enough frequency so that the temporal nature of the use of the product makes total sense.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll turn it back to the queue. Really appreciate the time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is coming from Joe Flynn from Compass Point Research. Your line is now live.
Guys, looks like power prices, you know, creeped up a bit from the third quarter, got back into like 6.5 cents levels. Just kind of curious if you could provide more color there and how we should think about you know, all-in power and hosting costs as you guys transition to, you know, the 40% owned data center model. Thanks.
So one way to look at that is you have in our normal model, being an owner-operator, many times we don't get the benefit of curtailment when an operator of a site curtails, and they get the economic benefit of the curtailment. And there were some winter events in Q4 that can cause had an impact there. You also had, because it's wintertime, energy prices may have fluctuated more. I think historically our energy and our kind of all-in cost has been in and around the 6 cent per kilowatt hour basis. As we take more control of our sites, the operation side of it, I think you'll see the cost per kilowatt hour drop somewhere between 1 to 1.5 cents, possibly more per kilowatt hour. The other advantage that we have by being an owner operator is we can now take advantage of economic curtailment. We can now take advantage of power hedges. We can now take advantage of buying and selling power and doing that. And we have already seen the economic benefit of that on a handful of occasions this year already. So I think, time will tell, but the goal is that, we should be able to operate where the operations cost above the power cost is somewhere between 3/4 of a cent to 1.25 cents a kilowatt hour. Take the power cost at about 0.75 to 1.25, and that should be where you could model longer term what the model looks like.
Yeah, just to add to that, the Q4 we had a record production, and it's all about the scale. How much of that cost of that production can you squeeze out of that cost associated with that? There's a fixed component of the cost, and with the transaction fee being at a record high this quarter, that certainly helped us as well from a unit cost perspective. Hopefully that helps answer your question.
Great.
It's all about.
That's all for me.
Thank you. Next question today is coming from Reginald Smith from JP Morgan. Your line is now live.
Hey, good evening. Thanks for taking the question. I guess most topics have been covered, but Fred, I wanted to get your opinion. Obviously a lot of public miners have announced, fairly large ATM offerings. I guess competitively, as you kind of look across the landscape to both, private companies and public companies, do you have a sense of how much capital is out there, maybe on the private side as well, to kind of fund growth? And I'm curious, should we expect, or do you expect that the public miners will continue to kind of garner a larger and larger piece of the network hash rate? And then the final question, or the follow-up to that, is just, kind of what's industry CapEx kind of look like on a normalized basis? I know these are all hard questions, but I figure you're the best person to apply.
Okay, I will do my best to answer your questions. So I think that, generally speaking, this industry has 3 choke points, 3 constraints. It's access to capital, as you mentioned, it's access to capacity, sites to plug miners in, and it's access to miners. In different cycles, there have been different constraint points. In the prior cycle, access to machines was the constraint point. You had $85 per terahash pricing on machines, and today we're still sub 20. So that's obviously not a constraint today, and as based on the machine orders you've seen our peers announce and the numbers we just announced, obviously the manufacturers seem to have plenty of capacity to supply us all, so that's not a constraint.
That's interesting.
On the capital side, the public miners that are ASR eligible, able to raise money through ATMs, have a significant advantage over everybody else. The investment community today is definitely looking for and moving towards a flight of quality, if you would. They're looking for the miners who are able to grow and execute and scale. And the smaller miners are challenged by a couple of things. One is, there's a certain fixed cost to operate as a miner, if you would, your SG&A. And if you can scale that over very large capacity, you can be super efficient. But if you're a small scale miner, that's a lot more difficult. The other thing a small scale miner has the challenge of doing is getting a site, putting deposits down for PPAs, and having the capital to buy miners. The big challenge today is this is a big boy capital game. If you can't raise large amounts of money, you're going to get left behind. And as you know, Bitcoin mining is a zero-sum game. There are only so many Bitcoin available per day. And if you're not out there growing your hash rate, you're falling backwards. And the innovation cycles are accelerating. And so if you think about it this way, the S19J Pro by Bitmain was a machine that started being delivered in late 2020, early 2021, that had an efficiency of about 30 joules per terahash. The XP started being delivered in early 2022, and that had an energy efficiency of 21 joules per terahash, almost a 30% decrease in energy use. And so if you are paying for 1 megawatt of power and you had J Pros and you replaced those J Pros with XPs, then you essentially increased your hash rate by almost 30% overnight without having to pay any additional power or add any additional capacity. In Marathon's case, we came out of the last cycle buying the latest state-of-the-art machines. The vast majority of our fleet today are XPs or better, and we're now currently deploying S21s and other machines like them that are even more efficient than the XPs. So there's this CapEx cycle you just have to keep up with. And there is, unfortunately, nothing called normalized CapEx here, because we're entering the phase where maintenance CapEx starts to catch up with miners. The J Pro is on the bubble of being profitable come the halving here in just a few weeks. XPs will still be profitable, again, providing you have the right power costs. And obviously the S21s and that next generation will be profitable for some time yet to come. But the miners who are operating S9s, S17s, S19, S19 Pros, they are going to be in a position where they may have to shut off a lot of those machines come to halving. Now, Bitcoin has been behaving extremely well. Some of you may remember I have spoken a number of times over the past 6 months where my expectation was that Bitcoin's price was going to be in the 40s as we went into the halving, and here we are, and we're at $61,000 today. So this is providing an extra gasp of breath, if you would, for miners who have these older generations of machines. And it's giving them an opportunity to raise some money right now. And so you're seeing some capital going into the private markets. What you don't have this cycle that you did have in prior cycles is nobody is lending on equipment, right? You can't go call NYDIG or Galaxy and say, hey, guess what? I want you to lend me and front me the money for these miners. And so the only way to do that is to convince somebody like Bitmain, a hardware vendor, to do it for you. And then what you're really doing is just operating a hosting site on their behalf, and you're getting paid a little bit extra to do that. And so I think this is the cycle where you start to see consolidation, where hash rate moves towards the larger miners. That being said, publicly traded miners' market share of global hash rate is declining. Why? Because sovereign nations, as well as large, very well-funded private companies, are getting into this business, buying the latest machines without this maintenance CapEx cycle hanging over them, and building a lot of capacity. You're familiar with the Kingdom of Bhutan working with.
I think we rally tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie. PCE data comes out good.
Seeing miners now in Ethiopia, Chinese miners moving to Ethiopia, doing hundreds of megawatts of power. There is lots of power available if you can find it, and if you have the money to do it. The problem is most of the mom and pop miners, any miner who has less than 10 exahash, in my mind, will be out of business by the end of this cycle. They just can't raise the money. They don't have the critical mass to do it. And that doesn't mean that they're going to get bought up by ourselves and Riot and CleanSpark and people like that. It just means they're going to go out of business. And so meanwhile, global hash rate is going to continue to grow everywhere else. So, this is very much, unfortunately, a business where, kind of like in
by the way,
the jungle, a gazelle gets up every morning and has to run faster than the lion that's chasing it.
Also, whatever I say,
pound every morning and run faster than the gazelle so it can eat and survive. And that's kind of what just happens here.
Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're at 69 likes, which is amazing for my channel. Thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you all.
As Bitcoin now starts developing into this asset class, which institutions hold, you're already starting to see this with the ETFs. Record inflows into the ETFs. As of last week, total AUM in ETFs was 40% of the total AUM in gold ETFs, which is insane. And as money keeps going into those areas, it's Bitcoin that won't cycle back out into the market. And so if you look at exchanges today, their lowest volume of crypto available, of Bitcoin available on exchanges, kind of historically when you normalize for where we are in the cycle. So I think it's going to be very hard for people in this industry to keep up, because Bitcoin's price is going to grow and the volatility is going to start to decrease. It's going to start to normalize. And at that point, margin compression will happen in the business. And if you don't have scale, you'll be out of business. And our goal, as being one of the largest miners in the world, is to have the scale, the operational capacity, the optimized cost structure, and the revenue streams that are adjacent to and associated with Bitcoin mining, that, think of it this way, can subsidize our cost to mine, or that because of the revenue streams coming in through heat reuse, et cetera, do subsidize the cost to mine, make us the operator who is kind of at the lead of this pack in the bottom quartile cost-wise. So we will always be operational, we'll always be able to mine, kind of no matter what the price of Bitcoin, obviously within reason, right? So hopefully that answered your question.
That was a great answer. I feel like I just had a master class on Bitcoin mining, and I should send you tuition or something. No, I appreciate that.
I'll send you a bill.
All right, cool.
Thank you. Next question is coming from Kevin Dede from H.C. Wainwright. Your line is now live.
Thank you. Hi, Fred.
Hey, Kevin.
Thanks for having me on the call. A little more granular here, Fred. 22 exahash to come out this year, and 35 to 37 potentially. Can you give us some insight on how you see adding it to your network?
Sure. If you're thinking, where are we going to put it? Well, one of the reasons
No. I apologize, Fred. You made that clear in your prepared remarks. I'm more concerned about the timing, just so we have, a view to how you see Marathon's hash rate increase through the course of the year.
Sure. If we had historically been a kind of de novo site developer, I could give you a whole pipeline with a chart of, okay, these sites will energize on this month, et cetera. That's not been our historical model. Our historical model has been, as you know, agile, grow quickly, and we're now in the business of, being more of an owner-operator and vertically integrating. So you can think of sites across three buckets. There's the bucket of, I'm going to go buy things like Granbury and Kearney, where there's excess capacity with an ability to grow. And as the hosting customers at those sites age out, as those contracts age out, we will absorb all that capacity ourselves. So we're looking, think of it this way, you have a site with 100 megawatts, maybe 80 megawatts.
That's how much money's in the site lanes.
Plug 20 megawatts of miners,
the interest
and then over the next 2 years, half of those contracts for the 80 megawatts will age out, and we'll start deploying more and more miners there. And oh, by the way, that site could potentially add 100 or 200 megawatts more because of the substation, and we'll develop that and add that capacity. So not to give everybody our playbook, you can send me an email, happy to send it to you, but that's how you look at that bucket. If you look at the next bucket, it's sites that somebody may have permitted, somebody has gotten some form of allocation of power, there's a substation available, they may even have transformers on the ground, but they haven't built the site yet because they don't have money. And this is kind of back to Reggie's question, right? It's there are people who have sites locked up that they can't raise the money to develop them because investors aren't willing to give you money in today's kind of market for Bitcoin mining data centers, because they prefer to give money to people building AI data centers, because there's a lot more money to be made there if you believe people who believe that that's the case. We happen to believe Bitcoin mining is the place to be, but we'll let the rest of that be up to contention. So those are kind of, think of them as halfway done sites. It's kind of like in the real estate development world, it's not raw land. You've actually bought the land, got it entitled, you've laid the sewage and utility lines, and now you're going out calling to the home builders and saying, hey, you know, I've got 16 lots here. You want to build a home? So that's that kind of middle bucket. These are sites that could be energized and online in a 6 to 18 month window. Then you have the true greenfield sites, you know, where we have folks that are out today scouring opportunities to acquire access to power, access to land, access to transmission, interconnect, et cetera, on a global basis, not just in the US. And those are kind of 18 to 24, 36 month type projects. And so we believe that as a global world-class Bitcoin miner, you need to build a stack, if you would, of staggered projects that give you immediate capacity, midterm capacity, and long-term capacity, but that all have optionality. So I'll give you an example. Granbury, Texas, has about almost 300 megawatts of capacity today. There's an opportunity to expand it because the power station has lots of power. So that gives us optionality. We could add more capacity to it if we want to invest the money to it. So you already have a site, you already have a power partner, you already have access to substations, et cetera. It's just a question of when do you want to start developing it and how much money do you want to spend to develop it? And what are you going to use that site for? Immersion.
And Bitcoin is showing strength. Ladies and gents, this is going higher.
Longer term sites, the optionality is it's very inexpensive to tie up an option on long-term.
I mean, it's like within range, but still lower, but
relatively speaking, when you talk on a per megawatt hour
I'm telling
basis,
you.
and lease land. And you can sit there, and this is, you know, the business that in the old days, the kind of compute norths of the world used to do, which is they would go out and they would tie up a deal with a power company, and then they'd go find a miner who would essentially be willing to fund the build out of the site. And then, you know, 12, 18 months later, you'd plug in. The King Mountain site in Texas was done that way, right? We engaged with Compute North back in the day. They engaged with NextEra Energy, and they got the power, they got everything permitted, and then they built the site, and then we came in. In this case, we're acting as the builder operator, right, of those sites. And so we're working along all three of those tranches, if you would, today, with partners and directly
data.
ourselves.
If you don't know what that is,
and so our goal is essentially to have
tomorrow.
Think of it as
financial juice
storehouse
130
or
either 930 US
readily available immediately today.
This will drive markets tomorrow.
Midterm available capacity. There's an option for us. You know, we know that when we need it 12 months out, we just turn the crank and it'll be operational. Already permitted. You know, you already have all the transmission, et cetera. And then the longer term sites where do we want to build 100 megawatts, 200 megawatts, 500 megawatts at a location where we may have 700 megawatts of potential capacity if we're willing to do the longer term investment. And especially internationally, those longer term, you know, that last bucket, there is a lot of available opportunity there. Ethiopia, Paraguay, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, the goal here to build a really resilient business is you build a huge pipeline and lock up potential capacity of sites with optionality to it. And by the way, I'll mention one thing. The Granbury site, for example, the way the PPA works there is it's not like we have to take all the power. We can actually, in the event of really bad pricing in the marketplace, scale it back. So we have ultimate optionality there, which is the best thing, right? So, you know, you look for creating a portfolio of capacity that is short, medium, and long term. Excuse me. You look to have a portfolio and access to technology, which is short, medium, and long term. And I'll touch on that bucket right now. Short term is Bitmain, ship me S21s. All right. Medium term is, you know, MicroBT, Bitmain, Canaan. I want access to your chips. I'm going to lock up a supply of chips. You're going to sit on them for me, and then I'm going to tell you when I want you to build the miners. This is a very different model This is a model from the PC
We're
industry,
getting back to 64.
and the
What?
technology industry. And no small player can do this. You have to be able to write a $50, $100 million check to one of these people and say, I want so many wafers of your chips. And then when I tell you to, I want you to turn them into miners. And in that way, I can lock up capacity, and I have no worry about getting
Have a good one.
access to chips.
Have a good
And the
day.
last one is what we've done with Auradine, where we actually own a part of the company who's designing the chips. Why is that important? Because we can get miners that have specs specifically suited to our needs and use cases. And when you see the two-phase immersion technology that we'll be releasing later this year, you will see the benefit of that. Where any other traditional miner, whether it's Riot or CleanSpark, if they don't know how to build technology products, they are going to be buying off-the-shelf PCs when we're busy building custom-built high-performance systems. And that's the differentiator longer term that we believe is the biggest moat with these guys.
That's super interesting.
I'm
that you
very
talked
much
about
looking
energy.
forward to seeing Ardine's product in action. So thank you for that color. Can we peel the onion back just a little bit more though, Fred? You know, based on the numbers that you offered this afternoon, 22 exahash, you're at 24 now. Does that mean you're at 27 by the end of March? Does it mean or if you're going for 35, does it mean you're at 40 by the end of June? How should we think about how that capacity actually comes online through the year?
So we're already at 27. We were at 27 at the end of the year, pretty much. So
okay.
So I think the way you have to look at it, Kevin, is I'm not going to lay it up for you, because we are going to play the game here where in 2022, we said we're going to deploy this hash rate. We had these machines, and then I was getting the question, hey, are they plugged in yet? Are they plugged in yet? Are they plugged in yet? So we're just going to talk about stuff when it goes live going forward. So we're giving you an idea as to what our pipeline of equipment is. Unfortunately, I can't help you model the when, because you're going to see it will come in very interesting lumps, not smoothly. But when it comes, it's going to come a combination of at a rush and then in blocks. So I wish I could say more, but I can't.
Thank you. Our next question is coming from Lucas Pipes from B. Riley Securities. Your line is now live.
Thank you very much, operator. Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Fred, my question is around
depends
the
on which ones
budget
I'm in,
for 2024.
Or depends on what I'm investing in.
What is it, and would you be able to break it down between miners and infrastructure?
Sometimes maybe you find a good stock,
Let Salman answer that question.
Wow.
Yeah, Lucas, it's I think we talked about it last time as well. This is what we're looking at from a total capital perspective, with the targeted growth that Fred talked about earlier today. We're somewhere around north of $200 million, so somewhere between $200 to $245 million, somewhere in that range, and that includes our miner purchases and roughly approximately $180 million or so. Just a quick reminder: we have been buying and paying for some of these miners, so some of those payments may have already happened. I'm just talking about the accounting capital here.
That might wake up
in terms of the rest of the stuff, we have other technology businesses and other ancillary businesses that Fred talked about. A small portion of that will be allocated to that. And then on top of that, we also purchased.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you.
Generates assets in.
Thanks for believing.
And Nebraska and also Granbury in Texas, and that will be added to the capital, which is sunk cost at this stage, but that was about approximately $180 million.
And that of course is separate and on top of the other numbers you mentioned.
Yep.
And I heard it right. It's kind of 200 to 245 million for 2024, and about 180 million of that is for miners.
That is correct.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Yep.
I'm bullish.
Thank you. Next question is coming from Brian Dobson from Charting Capital Markets. Your line is now live.
I think we good.
Hey, thanks for
Heading
taking my
back up, we're
question.
already sitting at 29.
So
The
you
story is going to be
mentioned
around
as we
revenue.
head into the halving, it's very likely for smaller miners to be pushed out of business. Do you have a view on the potential magnitude of the decline we could see in global hash?
Thank you for being
could
here.
that decline potentially be offset by some of the other players you mentioned, like nation states or large private entities?
Great question. So one way to look at this is look at the nonce analysis work that a number of people have done that's been published readily available, where you essentially can see the amount of hash rate coming from what category of machine, and in some cases, locations, and even energy pricing data if you have the ability to do
I need
that
at 39 tomorrow.
So there's the industry average efficiency today is somewhere around 30 joules per terahash. 30, 33 kind of varies depending on how many machines are on at any given time when you look at the nonce analysis. So
I mean, if you have the stock, hold it.
33
I would
joules
say
per
as long as
terahash
Bitcoin doesn't crash, you're good to go.
Bitcoin at kind of 55,000.
No financial advice. I don't know what your financial situation is.
See anywhere from 11 to 18% of the hash rate come off. Now, it may not come off all at once. Some people may have a few $1 million in the bank and they're willing to say, you know what, I'm not going to shut off because I'm going to let the other suckers shut off so that I get the benefit of the hash rate dropping and now I'm profitable again. And so I'm willing to take a loss for a month or 2 or 3 or 4 maybe. So I would kind of say, if you have to look at kind of the window, kind of, halving over, and then the first 6 months post-halving, that's when you're going to see kind of the people who are hanging on for dear life are going to hang on as long as they can. Other people are going to say, no, I'm out. I'm going to shut down and wait for better days, wait for Bitcoin price to go up or not. What you are not going to see based on the announcements of ourselves and our peers is the rest of the world slow down. And so you may very well have a world where by the end of this year, global hash rate is 20 to 30% higher than it is today. You may have a world where it's the exact same as it is today. What I will tell you is that obviously it's very dependent on the price of Bitcoin. And the fact that, I'll go back to the thing about the ETFs. With the ETFs sucking up Bitcoin, and realize nobody can print Bitcoin. People talk about the supply shock or the halving. You go from 900 Bitcoin to 450 a day, so what? If every mine, 450 Bitcoin a day isn't going to do anything to the supply in the marketplace. What is doing it, what is creating a problem is the ETFs as they continue to vacuum up Bitcoin.
Which you can't really move.
And I don't really see it abating. It may not grow, but I don't see it abating based on the conversations I'm having with institutional investors, certainly, is that the available supply of Bitcoin in the market is going to start drying up. It already is. It's at record lows on exchanges. What that does is causes huge volatility swings in price, right? That's where somebody at night, when the ETFs aren't buying, can short Bitcoin, drop the price down because there's no real demand. And then in the morning when demand comes up, the price comes back up. And there are already traders doing this. You may have seen a couple days, last week or the week before, where quant funds went in and 10x the volume that a couple of ETFs were doing as a test for this exact strategy. I'm going to go short Bitcoin, then spot Bitcoin outside of the ETF markets, drop the price, buy it up, and then let the ETFs come back, drive it right back up and sell it again. So you are going to see a market that is going to be
manipulation,
having a lot of gyrations in it. And
great.
when that happens, some miners will say, oh my God, Bitcoin price dropped, I'm going to shut down. Oh my God, Bitcoin price is going back up, I'm going to turn on, and you're going to see hash rate bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's going to make for a kind of crazy world. So I think some miners are going to become sporadic miners if they have the right type of energy pricing contracts. Miners that have PPAs where it's take or pay, they have to buy all 50 megawatts of the energy they're contracted to, especially hosted miners. And let me take a minute and say that the third-party hosting business is dead. Nobody who's hosting S19J Pros and paying 6.5 cents, 7 cents, 8 cents can be in business anymore, opposed to having, unless Bitcoin just goes on a real tear, because they just won't be able to afford to do it.
Man, it means nothing, but if I have to probably go back to the highs, I would just be ripping every day. I wake up and it's 5-10% up.
And so it's this third-party hosting business, the retail hosters, other than people who want to host because they do it for vanity purposes. I really don't see that business. And I get calls very frequently now from people who are hosting miners in locations saying, hey, do you want to buy my hosting contract? Do you want to buy the miners I have plugged in here and just take them over for me? And so I foresee that business dying. And so that'll be a certain portion of hash rate that temporarily will
I never liked it.
But by the same token, there's somebody like me saying, you know what? I'm calling every third-party hosting guy saying, hey, listen, you know what? Do you want to, if you have an empty shelf, I may be interested in buying the shelf from you. I'm not going to pay you a hosting fee, but I'll buy
whoever tells you they're sure, run away.
And I may
they want
buy
to take
you,
your money.
If you're interested in it. And so this is where I think you're going to see the consolidation. And this is where balance sheet makes.
That tells me you have too much money in it.
And just availability of cash. And so anyway, could go on for a long time on this, but I won't.
Continue. Feel free.
No, I think as just a quick follow-up to that, so is that where you see, call it the lion's share of appealing M&A?
No, I think the rally's happening now.
Third-party hosting segment.
The beautiful girl in the street is doing nothing. NVIDIA has been flat for the past couple of days.
Who can afford to do it? I don't see.
We're rotating.
Riot, CleanSpark ourselves. Yes, but Core most probably not. Core's business model is predicated on a 7-cent hash price.
I bought.
We'll be at 4 cents to halving.
Little, but I bought.
I think miners with a lot of debt, miners with balance sheets that are kind of wonky, can't raise capital, aren't going to be able to do much. And in the case of Core, they have a big brother whose name is Bitmain, who's able to, plug miners in. They can do a kind of a rev share deal that way. But that's not a way to service $700 million of debt. So, the large scale hosters are, other than Riot and Core, are kind of disappearing and converting to self mining. And the small scale hosters, they can't afford to buy their own miners. So I don't know what they're going to do. And if they don't have good power prices, nobody's going to want to buy them. So.
That's the problem with buying so many options close.
Our question and answer
That's why you got to give them room to breathe.
I'd like to turn the floor back over to Charlie for any further closing comments.
What's the strike?
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you all for your time today. If you have questions that were not answered during today's call, please feel free to contact our investor relations team at ir@mara.com.
Just send your questions.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Send your questions. Okay, let's sum up and let's see if I got it.
Conference and webcast. You may disconnect your line at this time and have a wonderful day.
All right. So as I'm understanding, the accounting practices don't allow for Mara to show the real numbers. Now, they showed the revenue increase, which was 156 million. They expected 145. Now, based on what I heard, is they have a ton of Bitcoin that has appreciated in value, which should theoretically make their stock, like their earnings per share for next quarter, be fantastic if the price of Bitcoin holds and they're selling. Or if they're not selling, at least they're holding and we see the price of Bitcoin. Now, the question is, what do you think will happen from here until the next earnings? Now, if you think that until the next earnings, the price of Bitcoin might come down a little bit because of the halving, usually the halving tends to be a buy the rumor, sell the news. Everybody's pumping right now, and then we're going to see a little bit of weakness after the halving, and then we see Bitcoin going to like a massive bull run, right? It's usually after the halving happens. Now, they're talking about all of these different things, which I'm quite surprised at the fact that they're not investing in refarming that energy that's coming in from the miners, because you could somehow maybe they cool, like the way that you cool. You know what's interesting? The Linus Tech Tips, how they cool using their they warmed up their pool with the energy from their computers. I'm surprised that they don't do something like that, where they can grab the hot water and then recreate energies one way or another. But again, that's like far down the future. Right now is the fact that Bitcoin is just pumping, and it's more, the more it pumps, the more value it has. They have over 15,000 Bitcoins, I believe, if I'm not wrong, which would be fantastic. Like, it's like right now they're a Bitcoin company. It's like, yeah, they mine, you know what I mean, to pay for their expenses, which makes sense. But if you believe in the potential appreciation of the currency, why do you care? You know, because it's like they're holding. They sold 73% and then they kept the rest. You know? Yeah, it's true. But the thing is because you bought, the interesting thing about the options is because you bought so close to the expiry, the implied volatility is going to kill you. The IV is going to drop tomorrow because we know what happens. But again, based on the information that we get tomorrow, PCE data at 1:30, we could see the markets actually recover. And we could see potentially, because the sell-off that we saw today, I believe comes from PCE. From the fear of PCE, because CPI was negative. And PCE is likely to be negative too. So that's also something that might potentially not allow the price to come in quick. But, hey. Yeah. The heat recovery, like, I'm surprised. You know, it's like, find some way to cool. Like, why are you cooling with air when you could potentially liquid cool? Maybe it's not efficient. It'll be interesting. What else did they say? They say they're working, like, their production was like, I think 52 to 56%, and they've managed to get it down over 90% right now. So efficiency is right there, right? So they've increased efficiency. The results were until the 31st of December. That means that since January, they're not accounting anything that happened since January. And Bitcoin has rallied how much since January? We know that it has rallied 40% plus. Boom. Here we go. 40%. 43% actually. Actually, it's a little bit higher. So let's, you know, for the sake of 48%. So whatever they hold has just increased in value by 50%. Man, it's tricky. Look. I have calls. I have calls strike at gold. Here, I'll share. I have calls at 32 and 39. I thought we could potentially see a rally, right? We saw the revenue increase, but we didn't see the EPS. Why didn't we see the EPS? I'm guessing they were spending money not selling Bitcoin, in addition to the fact that they were just holding, like they couldn't produce as much as they said, which Charlito mentioned. You know? He mentioned the fact that they could potentially have problems coming into the earnings because they were not producing at maximum capacity. Now, if they're not producing a maximum capacity, and now they're producing a maximum capacity, at least from here till potentially April of the halving, they're gonna be taking advantage of the mining of Bitcoin, which in theory, you know, as prices start going up, people start going into mining. It's when you want to go in. Like, say, I've been looking at oh, where can I buy some hashing power? And it's like, I don't know anything about that. You know, I mined back in 2017, and that was great. That paid for everything, my computer setups and all that stuff. But I don't think that it's worth it right now because there's companies like Mara that are just doing this stuff for you. You know? So what do we learn from here? What do we learn today? First of all, don't listen to a random guy on the internet. I'm a random guy on the internet. You don't know me, and I don't know you. So invest your money and make decisions based on information that you can trust. Second of all, Mara, I think it's a buy. Not financial advice, but I think it's a buy. I think right now it's a decent buy. Bitcoin is still pumping. It's still showing strength. The FOMO rally, I don't think it's here. And now, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if we go, let's play some games here. And we go into Google Trends. And if you don't do this, you should definitely do this. Because if you're in Bitcoin, this might actually help. Go to Google Trends. And then put Bitcoin. And then you go worldwide. Past 5 years, all categories. You go Bitcoin. Well, look, the microchips things and the electricity thing was a point that I want to discuss for like a future video, because that's so true. One of the scares and potential damages that Nvidia has is the fact that you might be able to make the chips, but you might not have the energy allocation in order to fulfill those things. So depending where you're building them, you might have issues running them. But that's a later story. But Bitcoin, you put Bitcoin, you put AI. I did this today. I put AI. Then you put what's it called? Cryptocurrency. Then you put altcoins. And bam, here starts drawing a beautiful picture. 2020, look at the Google interest of Bitcoin. Super high. Super high. Where are we right now? At the bottom. So right now, everybody's looking at AI, nobody's looking at crypto. And crypto still has that time to shine. And we are sitting at prices, we're almost at all-time highs. We are so close to all-time highs. Now, we're retesting, potentially coming back. There was potential liquidations. Market was not working properly. People couldn't trade in Coinbase. That creates a mayhem, you know? But in theory, Google says we have not reached the top because there's still no FOMO. Obviously, Mara things are going to go in our favor because everybody here has a stake in the Mara trade. Every single person here does. I have a feeling, you know, there's probably guys on the sidelines that are like, nah, it's going to go down because I want to buy more, you know? Why are you paying attention to this? Nobody's paying attention. The fact is, in reality, nobody's here, you know? It's like, if I'm the only one streaming this, it's because nobody's paying attention. And then, tomorrow, we get it in the news cycle, and all of a sudden, we're going to focus on the revenue. We're going to focus on the fact that they have 15,000 Bitcoins in their balance sheet. Bam. That's the story that we get tomorrow, and I think that that's why we pumped. Could I be wrong? 1,000%. I'm thinking you long. Now, come to me next earnings, because I'm definitely streaming next earnings now. And then I will try to, first of all, not get the EPS wrong, which I'm still surprised, because my data said that that was the EPS. You know? So we shall see. By the way, if you have enjoyed the stream so far, I'm going to ask you for one last time. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Make sure we remember this moment because this is like probably the highest. The highest. You'll be doing me a favor. And then I'll do you a favor. I'll try to make the stream the best I can. And try not to get the EPS wrong next time too. I'm pumping. Like, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is back. Like who, you know? No. I'm going to hang out for a little bit longer, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking people buy the dip. $104 per share. Bam. I'm telling you. Then I want to start analyzing earnings, price to sales ratio. I want to understand the freaking other stuff. I want P ratios. It's like short floats. I think you guys are the real MVP. Look at it. Being legit, you know? It's good. It's good. I do other earnings. Like I did the Nvidia earnings last time. But then I had copyrighted music in the background. And then I can't post the video. Great. The more you learn. Oh, it is for sure. You know, it's like we're sitting at 28. The call was fantastic. They hit everything on point. You know, we're all learning at the same time again. You know, I trade. I've been trading for a while now, but not like I'm a professional. But the thing is, when you go with options, and the risky thing about options is the fact that when you go with options, not only you have to get the price trend right, you gotta get the timing, and that's why they pay more. So if you get it right, the problem is when you get earnings, you get implied volatility, and implied volatility drives the price of the contracts through the roof. So if you don't get it right, you got to pay up the ass. You know? Potentially, if PCE, mark my words, if PCE comes in softer than expected, that means that the Fed is more likely to drop. If they drop, we potentially see a rally. But again, if the Fed doesn't drop, we might have the regional banks come in, and if we get the regional banks collapsing, then we get Bitcoin going up because it's the alternative to banks. So, which story do you believe? I don't think we drop rates soon. No, I mean, look, I'm learning how to trade options because you know, as a trader, the more you understand, the better. You gotta understand the tools. It's just a different tool, and you gotta understand how to manage that risk. You know, look, everybody, you know, it's like everybody talks about like a lot of people, they don't even know the stock, right? Like I you know what? I'm gonna do something here real quick. Like, how many times have you gone into the investor relations of a company and actually gone in and understood balance sheets, cash flows, and gone into the details of all that stuff? You know, I've been trading for 3 years, and it's been a year since I started. You know, other people, there's people that put $1 million, and it's like, yeah, because I like the stock. Boom. It doesn't even matter. Like the amount of research that some people do, they don't even know. So how can you, you know, it's like you listen to me and it's like you have no idea what the knowledge that I have. You don't know, like, does this guy know what he's talking about? Yeah, like yeah, maybe I sound like I know, maybe I don't. You know, maybe I got made mistakes. So it's like listening to a tweet of a guy that just mentioned something and it's like, oh, I'm angry at this stock because potentially they lost money one time because they didn't do their proper research and due diligence. Eh. What is Mara at? Mara's 4%. Mara's pumping. I'm up $100 in that trade. Let's go. Minimize the. Well, I'm still up. Like I just pushed my average price to 23. That's fair. That's fair. You gotta find a way to buy the Bitcoin. Mara price target. I think. Okay. Like Mara doesn't hit 40. Maybe. The thing is, I don't know. You know, tomorrow it could change everything. But being probably we stay around the same price. I don't think we come in lower. I think we're probably around 30. Probably 30, and it all depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin drops tomorrow, we have an issue, but it does not look like it wants to dump today. It does not. It definitely does not. Like, we're sitting at 62,500. I'm saying I should have bought back. I knew. Oh, look. Risk management. Oh my, I'll do a video on risk management. Risk is the probability of something happening and how bad can it be. If it's a high probability but the damage is low, it's low to medium risk. If it's a high probability and a high amount of damage, then it's really high. You gotta be careful. So with options, it tends to be the high probability of you getting it wrong is very high. And the chances that you lose all of it is really high. That's why options very high. I bought it too, man. I bought it too for sure. Mara sitting at 29.23. The guys that started it, you know, like the people that like went in, panicked, then what price? What Mara? The problem is Mara is so volatile. Look at this graph. Look at this beautiful graph. It's not like, oh, let's just predict. Like, look at the here. I will show you the hourly. Let's go to the daily. Okay, we go to the daily. And this is what happens. This is the timeline. That's super interesting. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the subscribe. You guys are raised to certain channels, never change. Tick. All right. So look at this. Okay. We go to January. Bitcoin ETF is about to happen. Everybody needs to get ready. Bitcoin ETF. We get the Bitcoin ETF. And Mara's like, it's the end of the world. Bam. And then all of a sudden, we drop about how much? Bam. We drop about 50%. 50%? 50%. Mara's done. Mara doesn't exist anymore. It's a trash company. They're gonna lose money. And from there till now, we're sitting at 34. Charlie said it. He was like, Mara likes to whipsaw like crazy. Like crazy. So, if it likes to, I'm up. I'm up on the day. Today's green. Almost. Okay, I don't want to say it's green. It's almost green. Almost green. And then you have the same story. Now, Bitcoin drops down 20%. Okay, cool. But then, wabam, 63% up. Mara does 100. So you can see how Mara performs in relation to everything else. It's crazy. It's crazy, you know? And everybody's like, oh, altcoins, and I'm going to do this. No. The story is not around altcoins at the moment. The story is around Bitcoin and what Bitcoin touches. So yes, right now, I'm not looking at anything other than Bitcoin. Why? Because all of the demand, like BlackRock, Fidelity, you know how much money is in those investments accounts that can now just be like, hey, I'm going to put 1% in Bitcoin just for giggles. But you just open up a liquidity pool. And now you can potentially put it in. And whoever is American here might confirm. Can you buy ETFs on your tax-free savings account? What does that create? That creates the possibility of Bitcoin going to the moon and you having to pay no taxes. Bam. Now, will volatility be in the stock? Yes. Guaranteed. 100%. Mara, it's up on the day we're hitting 30. Let's freaking go. You see, that's the problem. Some people pay attention to the news and they say, oh, look. Like the news is just like, oh, they missed. But they actually didn't. Their revenue was great. And they're still a small company. They're $6 billion company. Insane. So yeah, we didn't get the 40 because if we had beat on EPS, and the thing is we had to beat by a lot because it was already priced in. But if we had done it, boom. No, earnings is out. Oh, I wanted to short sound. Sorry, I wanted to short sound. I wanted to short it. But you gotta have bro steel balls for sure. Man, look, it's coming in. It protected the 30. The 30, it's a psychological level. What if would have been fantastic? And the thing is, we are potentially not away from it. The question is when? Potentially not right now. But the fact is that if you go deeper into the earnings are not bad. The earnings are not bad. I'm not fucking selling. Like, look at this chart, dude. Come on. Like how big is this stock? Yeah, do it with options. Do it with options so your cap size is limited. Your downside is limited. Sorry. I'm telling you, PCE tomorrow. Look, I love these guys. They're great. I'll give them free promo because they're great. Financial juice. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to get the data. PCE tends not to move like crazy, but for example, tomorrow we have a lot of data, but mostly it's US PCE. We have the Germans are giving data, the French are giving data. They should be down, but maybe a Euro trade. And then yeah, PCE tomorrow is expected to be at 2.4, and then core. Core is the one that we want to pay attention to because that's what the Fed pays attention to. Core is actually coming up, but year on year is actually coming down. So potentially, PCE could actually give us a good number. And if it does give us a good number because it's a little bit more balanced, if it gives us a good number, that takes away the fears from the Fed, which the Fed watch tool. I know my things, you know what I mean? I have done research, you know. I know a little bit. You know? But it's like, look, we're not getting a cut in March. and we're not getting a cut in May. They've shifted, I think, to June. June is 50% we get a cut. I don't think so. Unless PCE comes better, but I don't think so. And then we're probably going to stay there. So I think we're pricing in only 2 cuts this year. Financial juice, I recommend. This one, they'll tell you in your ear. So you launch, you got to make an account, this stuff, and then you listen to them. This will be in your hour, in your time. And then they'll give it to you as the news comes out. You know, I could stream tomorrow. I could stream PC. It's not super exciting. It's literally just a guy saying PC data is this. Right now, I believe it. Right now, Mara, I'm confident that he will do. He'll do well. I'm not too worried on the Mara trade. Right now, sitting at 29.50. Yeah. Well, the market sell-off is unwarranted, right? The current sell-off is unwarranted if PCE comes better. But PCE doesn't like PCE tends to not move markets a lot.
Philippines President
traders.
Marcos vows to defend sovereignty firmly.
Just like that. And they'll be like, PCE will be this, and this. You know? And we have manufacturing, and we have Eurozone CPI coming in on Friday, which would open up like 4x. Man, you know, the thing is just like, look, you have to pick your moments. You know what I mean? You have to pick your moments. I'll be down. The thing is just like right now I'm doing like posts. I do my posts on eToro.
Philippines President Marcos vows to protect territorial integrity against foreign powers.
I did streaming for a long time, but it's like, you know, you gotta do it. Stay vigilant, okay? Stay vigilant. If you stay vigilant, I'll probably be like, you know, you'll see me live. I'll try to give in advance and stuff, you know. I'm excited. This is great. This is probably one of my most watched YouTube videos. Definitely doing more next. And Riot, here I come.
Philippines President Marcos, our seas must remain free and open.
For sure. Yeah, I'll pop in. The thing is just like, because like the problem is it's like if I was to stream at 1:30, right? Like I can stream the data.
Japan's January industrial output down 7.
Sometimes Japan is wait a second. Japan is reporting. Because Japan retail sales 2.3, forecast was 2. Because Japan might increase interest rates and that might break the markets too. That's a fear too. Because like right now there's so much debt in Japan because interest rates are still lower, and they're thinking that potentially they'll rise them. It's unemployment. Unemployment should be coming in. Unemployment should have come out. Yeah, man, I shouldn't be trading this late. Yeah, it's bumping 29.75. That was a buying opportunity in my eyes. Well, damn, I'm excited. I don't want to leave, dude. It's crazy. All right, man, I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you so much for watching. Much love. Because it's a Bitcoin miner, you know. It's like because yes. It'll consolidate. Probably it'll consolidate around this price, and then potentially Bitcoin prices move tomorrow. It'll probably keep it up. Thanks so much for watching, guys and girls, whoever is watching. Appreciate you much. But it is. Andrew, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? All right, you know what? Let's do this. Look at Mara. Now, there you see. We're gonna go E, and we're gonna bam, and we're gonna go currency and apply. Okay. This. Look at this. Look at the price. It's got a potentially. The thing is just like now it's, but we have to break it. But we have to hold it. But right now the chart is looking like it's just retesting from the highs and then coming back up. Look. Tell me it's not moving similarly, It's like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Give me a second. Who's chat? Who's chat? Ow. Look, short-term price movements is very difficult, but this tells you that the market in the after hours is telling you that the earnings mean nothing. They were happy with their earnings. We're back. We're back. And if you want to follow the astrology of the market, that is a hammer. Market rallies tomorrow. Actually, you might have missed. Like if you were thinking that the drop, like we got that drop twice. We touched 27 twice. All right, guys, I'm leaving. Wow, I'm so happy though. Mara's up, baby. Let's go. Mara's up. My options are gonna hurt tomorrow. That's okay. That's why you make profits, and then you gamble the profits, and then we shall see. I'll let you know how the trade goes tomorrow. But 1:30 tomorrow, I'll probably stream PCE. If you guys want to pop by, feel free. You don't have to. Thanks so much for the follow, for the subscribe. Thank you so much for the likes. I'm gonna throw this in my sister's face so bad, so bad. I'm thinking green tomorrow. Andrew, I know, bro, you have no idea how excited I am right now. But it's like, I'm going to call my mom. I'm going to call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I made it. Insane. 2,546 views today. I did not. You look at my Nvidia earnings and see how dressed, like how nice I look, Right now, I was like, yo, I'm going to look at Mara. It's going to be quick, Crazy. Insane. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all. You guys are awesome. I have been awake since 9. It is 11. I'm down. I'll do tomorrow. I'll put in the thing and I'll put the notification. Don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe and do the YouTube people do and stuff. And yes. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you all. Have a good night, everybody. Peace. I gotta be drinking whiskey soon.